I'm ready.
Uh, Buddy, I already started recording. And now the beginning of the podcast is going to be you saying I'm ready. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Uncommon Energy Podcast. On this week's episode, we got a handful of new cards to talk about that have been revealed in the past week. All the new cards that are going to come out in Inferno X, I believe, are now known, so we can talk about that. We will look at the results of the Pittsburgh Regional Championships and especially a questionable finish to the event, a very unique circumstance that we may never see again. We'll talk about what happened there, as well as all the results from the tournament. We will, of course, have Guess That Flavor Text, everyone's favorite segments of the podcast. And then we're going to wrap up this week by talking about the Champions League results over in Japan this past weekend. And then also what we are looking forward to from the new Mega Evolution expansion that is going to be live on TCG Live this Thursday, right, Azul?
Yeah. Just
And then
dropping. Oh, sorry. I thought that was like you. Go ahead.
I was just confirming. I was
It
pretty sure
is
it's
out on
Thursday.
Thursday. It's always Thursday. It's always Thursday. It is
And then
Thursday.
we'll wrap things up over on our bonus episode exclusive to our YouTube channel members and Spotify subscribers. My name is Chip Ritchie, and I'm joined here as always by my friend and co-host Azul. GG, what's up, Azul buddy? How we doing? How's your week been?
It's pretty good. Did a lot of watching of Pokemon over the weekend. There was of course, the Pittsburgh. There was also Champions League, and then there was actually and we tuned in for one moment of sudden death during a round during the what was it? Premier Ball League Malaysia, I want to say.
Okay.
So three majors over the weekend. I'm not sure how much information we actually have on Malaysia,
I'll
but
look on Pocus stats real quick.
yeah. But there was a moment we tuned into. I think it was actually Cash was in my chat. I was like, "Yo, there's a sudden death happening." It was between. I was like Sarah Ledge and Raging Bolt. We watched this. We were sitting there watching the Sarah Ledge player play their turn while the Raging Bolt
How did
player
they
had.
even get to a sudden death situation in that matchup?
Well, their time rules are weird. If you're tied on prize cards, once time and even turns, I believe, has expired, you don't play next prize card wins. You go to a sudden death match. So they were tied 1-1, and actually the Raging Ball player played an extra turn. They thought the players even thought that they're supposed to play it out until someone won the game
Was
because they were at
ahead or yeah.
yeah they were at 1-1. The Sarah Lich player I think they play even turns over and for anyone who doesn't know what even turns is, they do this in most of the places in Asia, if not all of them, and they do it in Japan. When time is expired, the player who went second has to be the last turn of the game. So if they're the active player, the game ends after their turn, and then whatever prize card rule from there that applies. But yeah, apparently over there in Malaysia, it is best of one top cut, and then I think they play out even turns. So the Sarah Lich player was the person who went second, so they played their turn, and then the Raging Bolt. I think both players thought it was just like, oh, we're tied on prize card, so now it's next prize card wins. But apparently that wasn't the rule. The rule is they scoop it up and they go to a sudden death game. And the Sarah Lich player mulliganed a couple times, and the Raging Bolt player was sitting there with Prime Catcher, Fanordum Stadium Energy, while the Sarah Lich player took like a 3-minute turn one. We were just waiting for this, so it was pretty
Yeah.
anticlimactic. Um, but yeah, so did a lot of watch partying. I didn't watch all of Champions League. There was like a certain point at like around 1 or 2 a.m. my time where I was like, I gotta get up at 7. It's probably best if I just go to bed now, get 4 hours of sleep. Because if I stayed up for the whole thing, it would have ended at like 4 a.m. And then I'd be getting up like 3 hours later to watch day 2 of Pittsburgh. So I'm happy I got a little bit of sleep. I'm kind of disappointed that I missed the rest of Top Cut and everything. It would have been cool to watch through it all, but too many tournaments going on, so I had to miss out on something over the weekend. But yeah, that's what I was doing, just watching a lot of Pokemon. What about you, Chip? How was the cast scene in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh was great. I think was it 2 seasons ago we were in Pittsburgh for regionals. So it's been a while since we've been back there. But yeah, I had a good time. The event seemed pretty good. Always, the start of the season, there's always like a lot of excitement, around the game. And um, yeah, it was fun walking around, watching some games. Lots of great games happening. all throughout the weekend off stream, and we got some good ones on stream as well, of course. But yeah, it was a good time for sure. I actually ended up buying a bunch of cards this weekend, and like I sold a bunch of playmats, and then bought a bunch of cards that I needed for like some retro decks and stuff. I made a pretty big purchase. I picked this one up from Full Grip, so shout outs to Full Grip. I got a Jolteon Star this weekend, which I was
Ooh.
pretty pumped about to go into a
Can we guess?
2007
Oh,
retro deck.
I was gonna try and get. Well, actually, I don't even know what it would be in 2000. It's got to. Is it just the Evolution deck?
No, it's going
Hmm.
in a um Banette Vaporeon deck that
Hmm.
Diego Casiraga got top 8 with at Worlds that year. And
I feel like
Pablo
that's.
Mesa got played it too that year.
I think it's one of the most. That's one of the formats that I know the least, to be honest.
It is I think it's an okay format. The big problem with the format is that there is no gust or hand disruption.
You're playing through the active the whole game.
Yes, there's no like good gust or hand disruption, and that's what this deck that I was actually building is actually cool because it is one of the few decks that can have gust because Vaporeon EX's Poke Power says when you
Mm.
evolve it, you may have your opponent shuffle their hand into the deck to draw 4 cards. And then Umbreon EX has
Right, look.
Bright Look, yes.
Yeah, bring up a Pokemon off the bench. Well, that's really like would be. I mean, as long as there's something like that in the format, like that's still things. I feel like it would keep things still pretty interesting. It's interesting. There's only one of them. I guess
Yeah.
going through the active is good enough most of the time. Dealing with your
Yeah.
opponent's attacker, I feel like is like a way bigger deal back then.
Yeah, this is actually a
Um,
pretty fun deck. I've had this deck built for a while, but with a world championship Jolteon Star. So I've wanted to get the real one for a long time, and it just continues to go up and up and up in price. And so I finally traded in some stuff and we worked out a deal. So shout outs to Full Grip for that. And I also picked up an English Vaporeon because one of the Vaporeons that was in my old deck was a Japanese copy, and I like to get all English ones. So completed this for the retro deck collection. And this is a fun one to play.
Pretty
I actually
cool.
do enjoy this format.
Yeah.
Um
I was gonna say like '06 is like a lot of people's favorites formats, right? And then '08 is terrible.
yeah.
So it's like '07. I feel like it's lost in there a little bit, where it's like it's not terrible, but it's like it's overshadowed by '06. I feel like for sure because they're
Well,
so close together.
there's some years like 2008 you mentioned. This was a terrible
Yeah.
year to compete in because the Gardeglade was just the best deck by far, right?
Pretty good, yeah.
And Worlds 2012 is similar to that, where like the Darkrai decks were just the best decks. But like, dude, this would have been miserable to compete in. But some of
Yeah.
these formats are actually kind of fun to go back and just like jam some games, play some games, like especially
Yeah.
if you're playing the decks that aren't like the BDIF against one another. There's actually some like you can have some pretty fun games. Like in 2012, I
Definitely.
love going back and playing some of these Chandelure decks that are really cool. The Eels decks are neat because that was like the first time that uh was like a stage one ability, right? Recurring the energy. It had
Yeah.
been like Blaziken before the Smeargle stuff. Yeah, there's like some cool decks in this format, but it's just like overshadowed by what the BDIF is. And I feel like that's probably going to be true about some of the formats that, like when we look back at, I don't know, like 2022 Worlds, right? That was not a great Worlds when you look at the competition side of it because it was like just Palkia and Arceus decks, really. But
Yeah.
there's some other cool things happening, like the Reggie's deck is a cool deck, right? Mew is fun, right? It wasn't as good this year as it was in later years. And this Charizard Inteleon deck ended up being a really, really good deck as well. So there's like other cool decks out there that aren't just the top couple decks. So I think it'll be something that people will be able to like potentially look back at and be like, oh yeah, this there are it's fun to go back and play a couple games every once in a while for like a format, you know?
Yeah, I think also like that's a format specifically that I think is like underdeveloped. Like
This
Arceus
world's
Peak
format?
yeah, Arceus Pikachu like never really caught on as being like a deck, right? Like it like I won NAIC and then it did kind of dominate worlds, but it was like a super low percentage
Yeah.
played. And if we just saw more people play the deck, we could see the meta evolve where it's like, oh wait, is Palkia like if Pikachu gets to 15%, Arceus Pikachu gets to like 15%, it's like, do you even want to play Palkia in that room anymore? Like, and then we could see things evolve further. So it could have been interesting if the format had more time to develop for sure. Um, but yeah, Pikachu kind of like popped up very late in the format, but it wasn't a very
Mhm.
long format either, I guess, as well. There wasn't a lot of tournaments for things to more rapidly evolve.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, shout outs again to Full Grip for the hookup with the Jolteon Star. Um, and yeah, it was a good weekend. Yeah, hung out and played some old decks as well, and had a good time and enjoyed a really unique tournament. We'll talk about the finals match later in the tournament. That was one of the more unique things I've seen happen on the I mean, dudes, two crazy things happening at like the last two like huge majors. I guess like not counting Frankfurt, right? Like at Worlds, Fuguan Liao's superior energy retrieval being face up in his deck. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy, something that might not ever happen again. And then someone playing a finals match with 59 cards. Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, definitely some interesting things happening at the majors for sure. But it's cool, it keeps things interesting, I guess. Um made it we'll talk about it further, but more yeah, it what is it left the Pokemon ecosystem or the Pokemon community, the conclusion of the finals. But we got some new cards to talk about first before we talk about that. So we should start there. Actually, the first thing I want to talk, I was curious about. So we have all of Inferno X. It's all been revealed. There was actually no reveals at the Champions League over the weekend, which I guess is like a little bit disappointing. But
Were you waiting for them and expecting them while you were streaming?
I was like unsure, but I was like, they always happen before Top Cut, like after Swiss, and then Swiss ended, and then first round of Top Cut came, and I was like, okay, I guess there's just nothing. I was
Why
like a
didn't
little
they
bit
just like
unsure.
why didn't they just like wait a week to reveal the Lopunny and the stadium card and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like with their release schedule, they only want to reveal cards, so they only want to like hold back reveals so close to the release because they're getting these cards like next week or the week after. I think in Japan, like they're getting them
Mm.
pretty soon, right? So they maybe are even getting they're maybe getting Inferno X this Friday. Like they might be getting Inferno X like right now. But Inferno X, yeah, all 80 cards have been revealed, so they have an 80 card set. But isn't Phantasmal Flames only like 90 cards?
Yeah.
So we're basically getting the exact same set that they're getting,
Yeah,
right?
we're getting it's basically this plus the Gengar and Diancie deck.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was curious. I was like, what else are we even getting at that point? And I saw someone say this. I don't know where someone saw it. If it was on Twitter, if it was in my chat or something, but someone mentioned that like their next set is also going to be really small. But I don't know if that's actually true or not. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Um, but I mean, is it like has this ever happened before? Where like the set is so small and our set is like so close to their set? It has to have happened in the past before. It isn't like the first time.
I mean,
Um,
definitely it's probably been a long time. Like the last time we had a set that was under 100 cards has to have been like in the black and white era. And I feel
yeah,
like I don't know if I don't I guess they did like the double set thing maybe a long time ago. Yeah, I don't really my Japanese set breakdown knowledge isn't the best, but I know like for some black and
yeah.
white sets at least, it's like basically they have a set and we have an equivalent of the set. I actually think you can see all this stuff on Bulbapedia, to be honest.
Yeah, we pretty much always have something a little extra, and we will have that for this as well, like you mentioned, the Diancie and the Gengar deck. But it's like effectively like that all that stuff came out for them. Oh no, that's not true. They have Diancie and Gengar right now, and then they will be getting.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So we're playing in like and like a I don't know, a not real format. Actually, I didn't even realize that because we're not getting the Diancie. Like they're playing with Diancie and Mega Evolution and Gengar right now. Wait, is that correct? That is correct, right? We're not getting the
Yes.
Gengar stuff until later. Oh, okay, so we're like Gengar and Diancie for us is like removed a set in the timeline.
Yeah, like removed a format, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Like a mini
mm,
format almost.
yeah,
And I do think those like kind of mini formats are cool whenever there's a new card that comes out that makes a splash that's like a promo card, like it comes out in a box or something like that, you know?
yeah,
I can't remember the last time we really had something like that that came out in like the middle of a format, but it always like when it's something good that has an impact. Like there was the Lucario GX. Remember that card? Like it came out, it was in a promo box. It came out like between two sets,
yeah.
popped up a little bit. It didn't end up being that good, but it was played a bit, right? Like
Yeah, let's play a little bit. There was like Zorarch, Lucario. That was like a deck, stuff like
mhm.
that. Yeah. And then we've had like I don't know, promo Tina in the past, promo Jirachi. What was the Jirachi promo? There was the energy
Yes.
removing Jirachi.
But see, some of those cards, like the promo Tina, the promo Jirachi, they came out when the new set came out, right?
Yeah, that is true.
It's like not in between sets.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, so they're getting the full new sets. There was a couple final cards revealed, and we're just gonna chat about them real quick. Some are good, some are not so good. Let's start it off with Ludicolo here. Shoutouts to Pokemon Proxies for these translations. Ludicolo, stage 2 grass type Pokemon with the excited healing ability. Once during your turn, if you have a grass Mega Pokemon EX in play, you may heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon.
Yeah, so I thought this card was interesting specifically in terms of like maybe some kind of like it's been a while since we've had a deck like this. I think the last one was Stone Journer, where it's just like and Stone Journer did attack, but like you set up a Mega Venusaur and like 3 or 4 Ludicolos. That's like Mega Venusaur has like 380 HP, right?
That is a lot of work whenever you could just play the Wally's healing card.
Yeah, but like Ludicolo staying on board, I feel like is a pretty big deal, right? When you get
Sure.
into the disruption in the mid late game. So I don't know. There could be something cool there with some kind of like not wall. What do you like a tank
Oh,
deck
like
out
you're not even trying to
Venusaur deck.
take prize cards.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
theoretically, yeah, or like you take them really slowly, like you like are manually attaching 4 times to your Venusaur or something like that. So that's why I thought this card was interesting. That it could lead to some style of deck like that, which could be cool.
And honestly, I've thought about this a good bit. I think Lily's determination as a supporter in the format makes double stage 2 decks like way, way more viable for sure.
Yeah, you've seen a lot
That
more cards.
like, and you're not discarding key pieces. You're not discarding rare
Yeah,
candies with research. You're not discarding evolution Pokemon that you need later, right?
yeah, those are the
Um,
decks that would definitely benefit the most from it because usually you're like, yeah, because like right now, I mean, you could play an Iono, but the one part is your combo pieces could be going to the bottom of the deck. Research discards them, but yeah, Lily's is kind of like constantly like you try and like drain
and
all the
it's
resources
8
from one
cards,
hand.
dude.
Yeah, drain all the resources from one hand, then play Lily's fresh shade. You keep everything in there for more combos later on. So definitely, I could see that being leading to more viability of these stage 2 decks. For sure, and honestly, maybe Lily's determination is like that missing piece. Cause I feel like a lot of people like not necessarily complain, but like discuss what Pokemon used to be. I had someone in my chat bring up Dark Palm Dusknoir over the weekend, and it's like I don't even know what we're talking about. Like broken, like that would be broken right now. Oh, that's what we were kind of talking about. Like if someone brought up, it would be like broken right now to have Dark Palm Dusknoir. I was like, it would be good right now. Like people would probably play Dark Palm Dusknoir, but we don't really have a lot of 101 stage 2 lines in these rare candy decks, besides like Pidgeot, but like the utility Pokemon is definitely less relevant than it has been in the past for sure. Even when you run like heavy rare candy counts, like I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
there's something you could play in like you take Tortpult, he had 4 candy in there. What 10 line, but 101 line besides I guess Dusknoir has been that card,
Yeah.
but it'd be cool to see something else. Mostly because I just feel like Dusknoir's a kind of an unfun card in general. He's not my favorite stage 2. But Lily's determination definitely makes that a lot more possible.
All right, next up we've got a Genesect with Bug Cannon for 1 grass energy. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 20 damage to it for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. There is, of course, a ton of grass support coming out in the Mega Evolution base set. You already talked about Mega Venusaur. There's, of course, the Meganium that doubles your grass energy. The Stadium card that lets you get your Stage 2 grass Pokemon into play quickly so you can get the Venusaurs and the Meganiums out. So this could be an okay, like, one of inclusion in some sort of grass deck, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like seems pretty good in any like Meganium deck. Turn 1, Genesect in play, attach to it. Turn 2, get out Meganium plus attach. You're sniping for 80,
Yeah.
picking off the Ralts's, the Dreepies, even like the 80 HP Charmander for 2 energy. You're still getting that KO, and then the following turn you're KOing the Charmeleons and the Dracloaks and stuff like that. So you're kind of on pace as they evolve up to be disruptive. Get some just early disruptive KOs. So it just kind of seems good in Meganium decks.
Then you do have your first 3 attachments being stuck on a 120 HP Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, the question is like, yeah, if it's a manual attachment deck, it doesn't seem very good. But if you're playing like Ogre Pawns and E Switches, Ogre Pawns and Venusaur or something like that, You get some little bit extra form of energy acceleration going. I feel like it makes
But
sense.
yeah, if you've got
Potential.
Ogerpons plus Venusaur plus Meganium, like you could be doing a lot on the second turn of the game. But it's kind of hard to fit all that and on the same bench, I feel like.
I mean, like you said, though, we got Lily's Determination. Now we're drawing a lot of cards.
It's
Like,
true, bro. It's true.
yeah, we'll see.
All right. What's the next one up? Next up, we've got Charcadet and also the Saraledge here. So Charcadet, 70 HP.
Another
Dude,
one.
there are so many Charcadets to choose from in the game. Ch-
There's
And this one
so
has
many.
Gather Power. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. This one does seem like a pretty good option.
Also, for like, just like between Saraledge, and it has 2 different stage 1 evolutions, Saraledge and Armor Rouge. I feel like how many Charcadets there is, how many Saraledges, how many Armor Rouges.
Yeah.
You'd think they would have had a little bit more success. It's like seeing its peak success right now, I think, with Armor Rouge box is like the furthest Charcadet has gone, because Saraledge EX hasn't had historically great performances.
Yeah.
But yeah, another option when you're picking which Charcadet of the many to play, the Gather Power to get yourself those energy instead. It is 70 HP as well, so you can still Buddy Poffin for it. It does have the 2 retreat cost. It's like the big drawback, but usually most of the time you're kind of content with your Charcadet in the active. And honestly, in Saraledge it seems pretty good as well. But honestly, in Armor Rouge box specifically, this one seems pretty good. Getting because finding energy can be like a problem with that deck. So having this guy in there to go get the energy for you seems kind of cool.
This card also seems pretty interesting. Saraledge with 140 HP, a stage 1 fire type. It is not Saraledge EX, it's just Saraledge with Purgatory Slash for 1 fire energy, 220 damage. But you do have to discard 4 basic fire energy cards from your hand, or this attack does nothing.
Yeah, so it could be an interesting inclusion as far as like a tech goes in a Saraledge GX deck, because you actually play enough energy to like build up 4 fire energy in your hand between vessels or night switchers or just naturally drawing them. And it would be like in a situation where like there's something like you'd be facing down something that like says like EX Pokemon can't hit me. This could be like an option as like a cool tech inclusion. I don't even know how many fire energy Saraledge GX decks will be playing moving forward though, so I don't even know how viable this would be in those, because they're gonna be
It
switching to
could
like a lot of fighting energy for the Solrock Lunatone engine.
it could also be cool to like at the end of the game make an all one prizer board.
Yeah, and still get a KO on like a Fizzendipity.
Yeah, yeah, you still take 2 prize cards, all 1 prizers, but the problem is just gonna be, like, managing keeping enough energy cards around, not dumping them all away. Like, you're not
Yeah,
playing superior energy retrieval in a Saraledge deck, right? So you gotta make sure you're able to get those 4 into hand. It also could be good early, like, similarly to the 1 prize Golden Go in a Golden Go EX deck, right? But this is a little bit harder to pull off because that you just simply the Golden Go, you just simply have to evolve. That's it, right? This
yeah.
you have to uh do a little bit extra work getting extra cards into your hands. So I don't know. This seems interesting. I would not be surprised like if Saraledge has like a good competitive moment for this card to be included in there.
Yeah, and Terra Ledge is already pretty good at like doing the prize fixing stuff, because it has like
Briar.
Briar, and the lists that we all saw that we saw at the Champions League, they were all playing Legacy. Actually, they all had Legacy energy in the deck. They like kind of go further with that in terms of winning the prize trade. So yeah, it might find a home still though at some point.
Rotom EX is a 190 HP basic lightning type EX Pokemon with the ability Multi Adapter. Your Pokemon with Rotom in their name may have up to 2 Pokemon tool cards attached to them. If this Pokemon loses ability, discard all Pokemon tools from your Pokemon until only 1 remains. And then Thunderbolt 130 for lightning and a colorless.
Yeah. So is Tool Drop back, or what is the name of it's the Rotom's Attacks Tool Drop? Is that what it's called?
I don't think so.
Gadget Show. Okay. Not Tool Drop. Gadget Show. I mean, you could be hitting pretty hard. Like it takes 2 colorless energy. So like the real question around it is going to be like the energy acceleration. You could like the Rotom, you could play Electric Generator. I don't think that's a good solution though. It would have to probably involve some kind of EXP share chaining. Would have to be the route, I think, to get attacking with your Rotoms. But I don't know. Maybe there could be something there with the Rotom EX.
Yeah, the cool thing about a deck like this is that you can hit for 4 different weaknesses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and weakness is just one of the biggest tools to take advantage of in the Pokemon TCG, right? So yeah, I think it would be cool. This is where is it what's the thing that finds you a bunch of tools like treasure tracker or something like that? Like
Yeah,
we could see
yeah,
that card
finally.
finally has its moment,
Let's
right?
go. Treasure tracker. That actually that was how you'd probably want to like set up your initial board for sure. We don't have anything else. There's nothing else in the format that finds a bunch of tool cards, right? Like this is it right now.
There is the TM machine,
But that way all of our
but
tools would get discarded.
they get
That doesn't work.
discarded,
I guess
yes.
it would give us like an initial a boost for a turn.
Unless you put jamming tower in play.
Ooh, wait, you could be quad jamming tower. No, you need the XP shares probably for sure.
Yeah.
But this is what treasure tracker was. Oh,
Or it's a
let him
Crispin
cook.
engine deck.
Spin. No, that is way too slow.
Well, it's Crispin, and then you could play Lily's Clefairy in the deck. So there's your answer to Dragapult. Because
Listen,
your all colorless attacks.
listen, Chip. I'm playing 4 EXP share and getting them turn 2 with my treasure tracker, loading up the squad, and we can hit our max damage output is what 360, right?
Dude, these guys have like no HP. I am realizing
listen, I
80,
don't think
80, 60,
yeah,
70.
I don't think we're beating Monkey Dory decks or Dragapult. But besides that, I think I'm beating Sarilege. I think I'm beating Golden Go. There's some dubs to be had for sure.
Listen, buddy, it sounds like a great YouTube video. I wish you the best.
It'll definitely be a ton of fun for sure, but probably not competitive, unfortunately. Also, the
I
Rotom EX has 190 HP. He's going down quickly.
I finally got to use this secret ace spec. There's your shadow. Empoleon EX, a 320 HP stage 2 metal type Pokemon. Counter stance for the ability. Prevent all effects done to this Pokemon by the attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. And then Iron Phaser for 2 metal and a colorless, 210 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks.
Yeah. This one just seems a little like it's underwhelming. The HP is fine. The ability is good. The attack, though, like we're still getting 2 KO'd by basically everything. Like we're just not. I don't think it's quite doing enough.
You're one hitting like support Pokemon like Teal Mask and
Yeah.
Pheasantipity, right? So that's nice.
I guess
But
we're like not getting. I guess it'd be like Golden Go has to reach quite a bit to get the knockout. They got to reach a little bit further.
I actually think the
Um,
coolest part of the Empoleon is the Prinplup, to be honest.
yeah.
100 HP, stage 1 with the aim and dive for 3 colorless. This attack does 70 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, aka 1 attachment of Ignition Energy, and that is half of a Radiant Greninja.
Yeah.
Minus 20 damage on a stage 1.
Yeah, that's probably not great. But I think the way you could maybe get value out of that would be like Relicanth. So you could like evolve to the Empoleon and then use Relicanth to get access to aim and dive. But even then, the Empoleon's kind of underwhelming for sure.
Yeah, definitely not great.
I'd love for it to be good, but I don't think it will be. Well, I mean, I guess like another one thing to mention, like we do have Matang in the format, so getting the energy on it probably wouldn't be ridiculously difficult. But we also have Genesect that searches for the Matang and the Empoleon, I guess. But it seems like it just does too little once you get there.
There's a new Duraludon here.
Yeah.
Hyper Beam, 70 damage for 3 metal. Discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. This is a sick artwork too. A Kanata artwork.
Yeah. The artwork's super cool.
Conda, sorry.
It's a cool option to potentially run in Duraludon. I don't know what matchup where you'd want this over the Outrage Duraludon, though. That's the thing. Like, the Outrage one is so good. Like, the idea of Hyper Beam, like, 2-hitting something and slowing down your opponent. Because, like, theoretically against Dragapult, if you're 2-hitting them, it'd be better to punch them and remove their energy, make them work harder, and then KO them. But the Hyper Beam wouldn't quite get there with a follow-up of 220. So,
Azul, I just read a card on this page right here.
yeah. Bronzong.
Tool Drop, Bronzong.
Oh, it literally has Tool Drop. But it takes an Ignition Energy, and it's a stage 1. I think the Rotom deck without it is probably better. The fact that it needs an Ignition, like only attacking 4 times, but maybe I don't know. Like maybe you just play a deck where you attack 4 times.
Yeah,
Like that's it.
That's funny. This Archaludon is actually kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
Coded attack, 120 for 3 metal. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon can't be damaged by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon.
Yeah. So it could be a cool. I don't know, cool card to include in Archaladon. Like, I think you could create some pretty interesting board states up against the Raging Bolt matchup, maybe. Raging Bolt doesn't play that many gust effects. They do have Baby Bolt to be able to snipe around it, but like
Mhm.
theoretically, you punch them for 120, and if you don't put enough two prizes in play for them to win by gusting off your bench, they have to go like double gust KO. But then if you set up another one,
I mean,
then you
our
just
Child on
win.
decks, it's not uncommon for our Child on decks to play Turo. So like you
Yeah,
could make a lone Archaladon pretty reasonably, right?
yeah, you could get to that position as well. So I don't know. There could be some. This could be a worthwhile inclusion in an Archaladon deck, for sure. Also, Archaladon doesn't even rotate when rotation hits, right? We still have it for.
Correct.
Yeah, so there's a lot of time. Like, and Archaladon's been like in and out of metagames as formats have progressed. It's never been like great. I feel like it's been like bad to fine. Um, but there's still time for it to have its moment. This could be like another tool to potentially put in the deck.
Then let's move on to I think probably the most interesting of the Pokemon reveals is this Lanoon Mega Lopunny EX. Let's start with the Lopunny, 330 HP, Stage 1 Mega Pokemon EX with the attack Gale Thrust, 60 plus. If this Pokemon was on your bench during this turn, this attack does 170 more damage for just one colorless energy. And then Spike Hopper, 160. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. I'll just quickly read the Lanoon as well. 100 HP, stage 1 colorless with the Excite Dash ability. If this Pokemon is on your bench and you have a Pokemon EX in play, you may use this ability. Switch this Pokemon with your active Pokemon. And then its attack 70 slash for 1 colorless. Not too bad either.
Yeah. So the Lanoon has obvious synergy with the Megalopony, but overall the Megalopony is like pretty underwhelming. The first attack is really good, but like the second attack is also like not a bad secondary attack to have on a Pokemon, but usually having like a shred attack is really, really good when the first attack is like better, I guess. Because like, yeah, imagine like you turn 2 Mega Lopunny and then your opponent goes like turn 3 Dragapult. Like, who do you think's winning that trade? Probably the Dragapult player, right? So it's kind of underwhelming. There, you would need to play something else around this, and it does only take 1 energy, so you could just play a bunch of Monkey Dories. I don't know. It also takes Colosseum energy, so like you just set up Monkey Dories or something like that, I guess. And if it doesn't get KO'd, then that's where like the extra damage to actually like make bigger plays happen could come from. So I guess maybe that's where its potential comes from, just playing it with Monkey Dory, which is kind of lame. But maybe a better partner will come out in the future for the Megalopony. But I feel like it needs a partner. I feel like by itself it is just not good enough.
If there was like any sort of healing in the format, this card would be, I think, insane, to be honest.
How does the Wally's card work? But it's a support. A supporter should kind of. If there's like max potion, right? Like that would be.
Yeah. What does the Wally do exactly? I think it does that one. Do you have to have a stage 2 in play for it?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember the.
Wally's Compassion. I'm just reading it real quick. Heal all damage from one of your Mega Evolution Pokemon EX. So it's Mega Evolution, not.
Oh, okay. Wait,
If you healed any damage in this way, put all energy attached to that Pokemon into your hand.
okay, so that would work then, right?
That's actually kind of that's broken, dude. You literally jet energy this thing active,
Yeah.
and then they hit it, and then you go Wally, bring the jet energy back, use the Lanoon, bring it in, and then jet energy Mega Lopunny back up.
You don't even need Lanoon at that point. You just do a different Mega Lopunny, right? This.
I mean, that
We're,
works too. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. We're Lanoon. We're Lanoonless at this point. Lanoonless.
I don't know, man.
Um,
I think this card seems really good, to be honest.
with some kind
It's
of it needs like a secondary attack you're setting up around it to like do
right.
something, or like a bunch of Monkey Doors, or maybe yeah, like you said, the heal. If we're not getting KO'd, the heal is pretty good. The heal is
I think
pretty
this
good.
card seems nuts, dude. That is so much damage for one energy card. Uh with like a pretty clear combo piece in the format with jet energy, right?
Yeah.
Um
It's just
I
like
don't
the
know.
attack isn't as good as Phantom Dive, and I don't think you have to work that much harder to be attacking with a Dragapult. So like, why not just play Dragapult at that point? But if the healing is consistent enough, I could see it. I could see it for sure.
And then the fact that it gets a shred effect as well, like there's no like super easy answer to it
Yeah. I
necessarily.
guess also
And
there's a
also
lot of
you can set up the whole engine with Fan Rotom. Fan Rotom can get Zigzagoon, Lanoon, and Baneri here.
I guess also the big thing is like it's pretty self-sufficient and needs very little, so you could include stuff, a lot of tech cards, right? Like you have trouble against Golden Go, you got Toad Scroll, right? You have space, you have space and bench space almost for sure for Toad Scroll, so you make that
I
work.
think I think this card seems really, really good. Like, I would
I'm
not be
coming around on it a
surprised
little bit. I'm definitely coming
I
around
would
on
not
it.
be surprised to see this card be included in, like, a regional winning deck at some point for sure. Like, it obviously I think and the fact that it's colorless as well means, like, it could be paired with anything, right? So,
That's
like,
true, yeah. Monkey
anything
Dory.
that comes out in the future of the game as well, if there's some super like, something that you need time to set up on the bench that can one-hit KO everything, like, this thing can just be your early game, as a stage 1 that does 230 damage for 1 energy. Like, it is that's a lot, dude.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. There's more potential than I thought for sure. I wrote this card off pretty quickly, but I think there might be something here, definitely.
We've got a bunch of trainer cards here. The Jumbo Ice Cream. Heal 80 damage from your active Pokemon that has 3 or more energy attached. So, I mean, that's a lot of healing on an item
It
card.
is, yeah. I don't know what you would play this with though. That's where I'm like struggling. I don't have anything with it yet.
Can we also just like, dude,
Maybe
this like,
it's just
why?
ridiculous. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I can't wait for the full art of this one.
It is a pretty it literally is just an ice cream cone with just like a lot of ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what card I mean, maybe some kind of tank Venusaur deck, right? You like slowly build it up. You got some Ludicolos, you got some jumbo ice cream. Be something like that. And it is an item, right? And that's I feel like we've had cards like the Wallies and stuff like that. It's just like being a supporter is just bad, but being
Dude,
an item card is really good.
how does the math work out? I mean, imagine in like even like in Dragapult, if you were established, you just go attach a third energy to your Dragapult and heal 80 damage from it, like in the mirror or something with Monkey Dory, like
Oh, that means there's that's a lot of energy to build up in a Dragon Ball deck. But I see
that
what you're
is
saying.
fair.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. I think it's gotta be something that probably more naturally is able to utilize it though. Dragon Ball, I
I
don't think would be the if your Dragon Ball's not getting one hit, you're probably winning the game. Like if your
Oh,
Dragon Ball
dude, you know what
survives,
this
you're
goes
like, all right,
with?
cool. Hmm.
This goes good with friggin' Archaludon, dude.
Would be okay in the Archaludon, yeah. Yeah. Especially when they try and like poke you,
Mhm.
but not trigger your outrage, and then you're able to just like remove the poke damage. Or sufficiently enough where like they have to threaten outrage to get through you. Yeah, I could see it.
I mean, playing like or they hit you really hard and you play like 3 of these in a turn or something.
You're playing 4 Jumbo Ice Cream in your Archaludon.
Are you playing 1?
Well, Hero's Cape is like what people have been playing most recently in there too. He's pretty big right now.
Yeah.
Archaludon is. I can see it. Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I want the card to be good. Trust me. I like. We haven't had like healing be good in the game in like I feel like a really besides Monkey Dory obviously, but like a dedicated heal deck. When was the last? Like, was it Stone Journer? Like that's the one that comes to mind. Like
Yeah.
I think it might have been Stone Journer where we had like an actual dedicated healing deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Looks
so.
like
And
it's
there
been
was
a while.
there was a dude who went it might have been Pittsburgh last year, honestly, where a dude went like 8-1 day 1 with Stone Journer, something like that. Or 2 years ago. Maybe it was Baltimore, actually, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
it had to be 2 years ago at this point. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. We
Um,
got a Sacred Charm tool card. The Pokemon this card is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have any abilities.
yeah, this one definitely seems that's just a good. I feel like that's a good tool card for sure.
Yeah.
It's like it is like meta specific, so like the ability Pokemon have to be popular enough, and it has to matter, right? Like where like it forces a 3 hit or it forces a 2 hit, but like a lot of things abilities are good. Some of the usually good Pokemon have abilities, so like there's a high chance that a metagame will come around where Sacred Charm makes a difference.
Yeah, I think this card definitely will see play at some point, but it's like very much going to be like in a deck that needs it to survive XYZ attack that exists in the metagame type thing.
Yeah, or some kind of heal deck. Like if there's just like if you play enough healing, right? It goes with the Jumbo Ice Cream actually pretty well.
Do I still have Legends pulled up? No. If the Banette deck I was just talking about that I finished building is a good example of this. Like it plays this one of buffer piece. Like this was a thing people would play to like survive one extra turn. And this card got discarded at the end after it was of the turn it was attached, Like sometimes just sticking around for a specific matchup.
Yeah.
whatever it is. The math works out nicely.
I'm kind of curious what situation that actually was for the buffer piece. What matchup? What
Oh,
situation?
I mean, it just came up pretty regularly. I mean, reducing 20 damage was a lot more impactful in 2007 than it
Yeah.
was today, for sure. When the average attack damage is like 90 or something like that. All right, we've got Dawn as a new supporter card. Pretty interesting one, honestly. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon, a stage 1 evolution, and a stage 2 evolution. Reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck.
Yeah. I actually really like this card. I think there's like a lot of potential for like grass decks, right? We got the new stadium. You need to get your evolution set up. This can find you a bunch of pieces to pull big plays or big. It says pull big plays set up on your board together, and then also like in Noctowl decks that play Pidgeot or some other stage 2. Like this might just like heavily enable Noctowl Pidgeot decks specifically because you go Noctowl for Candy Dawn. Dawn finds your next Noctowl, your basic, and your Pidgeot. Then go Candy Pidgeot, quick search. Like that's like an insane turn.
Do you know what
Um,
engine this card really works well with?
you got
The Dunsparce.
no, because the Dunsparce sucks.
But this is the
It could
card
be
for the
okay.
Dunsparce engine. I think
Maybe
that a card
the
like
Dunsparce
this,
plus a stage 2, like Conkeldurr maybe takes advantage of this with the Dunsparce. I could see that actually. Actually don't hate that at all.
and I think that's where a card like this will be best is whenever what you're grabbing from it can be versatile enough to do multiple things for you, right? Where it's like sometimes the stage 1 you're grabbing will be a piece that you need to just evolve to get your attacker into play next turn. Or the stage 1 piece you're grabbing can get you draw power on board, right? So like I think that's where this card will work best, where there's a deck that can do all that. What I really want is for them to bring back uh like this card, Holland's Cast Form. Where like something like this would be so cool with a card like this existing in the format, where it's like a Pokemon that is an energy card.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
there's Holland's Electrode and Magneton that are stage 1s that are the same thing as this. For those who don't know, this is like a super unique effect that existed in the history of the game where it's a double rainbow energy. It provides 2 rainbow energy, 2 energy of any type. You attach this as an energy card. It's the Pokemon, but the cost is you have to return an energy attached to the Pokemon you're attaching it to. So you already have to have an energy on it to get that effect.
Yeah. So you're
But
not really getting ahead in energy attachments, but it is double rainbow energy. And it's a Pokemon, so you can search it out with items and supporters that can find Pokemon. We haven't had
something
that.
like
When was
this.
the last time we had something like that? It's like counter gain is kind of similar, but not really. But it's been a while, right?
I mean, I think this is the only time it's been like a Pokemon has been able to be attached as an energy. But there's been stuff like there's like the
I thought we had something more
Klefki.
recently.
There's the Klefki that you could attach as a tool card.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else you could attach as an energy. Oh, Electrode, right? Like
Is that
the
recently?
Evolutions Electrode, it could blow up and then you would attach it
Your opponent got
to.
prize cards, right? So it's like a little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it's
But
the same
like,
thing as any other like knock it out, give your like the same thing as Magneton, basically.
yeah, but the Pokemon becomes the energy
Yeah, yeah,
cards.
yeah. But it's not like a yeah, like it's not just like a utility card like the cast form was, where it's just enhanced ways to find the card, which is like that's the cooler part of it for sure. And also its attack was pretty good too, right? Didn't it draw like did some decks played it as an engine, right? As your
It
early
was
game
an
draw engine.
engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delta draw. Count the number of Pokemon you have in play that have Delta on its card. Draw up to that many cards. Yeah, this was a very good draw
Yeah.
engine in a lot of decks.
Yeah. Let's play the Delta decks.
A little Pokemon TCG history for the class today. But I think really what I get excited about when I see this card is just putting it in my cube. All right.
That sounds really good in the cube, though. That sounds insanely
It's
good.
probably going to be really good in the cube. Yeah. Battle Colosseum. Last one I think we're going to read here today. Stadium card. And this one definitely got a lot of people talking on Twitter this week. Prevent all damage counters from being placed on benched Pokemon by the effects of the attacks or abilities used by the opponent's Pokemon. It's pretty clear that there's a couple things that this is just trying to counter, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So for people who are unaware, it stops Dusknoir. And now it only protects your bench Pokemon, so it stops
Yep.
Dusclops and Dusknoir from affecting your bench. We are getting Psyduck. Not yet. We're soon. It's coming. Or I guess
Thursday.
shit. Thursday it should be available. And then it stops Monkey Dory from moving damage onto your bench Pokemon, but the Monkey Dory can still be used on their side. Like they can heal the 30 and put it on a bench, but they can always just put it on your active as well. So, yeah, interesting card for sure. It doesn't feel like it's aggressively shuts those things down. It would also stop the attack effect from Dragapult. You want to be able to spread the damage from Dragapult's attack onto the bench Pokemon. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's not like overly powerful. I could see some decks in the future playing 4 of these if they just have a hard time against stuff like Dusknoir and Monkey Dory. And I could see some decks playing like a 1 or 2 of them to combo with Iono at the end of the game to like shut down the potential combo from a Gardevoir or a Monkey Dory deck. I feel like a lot of people like reaction to this card was like, why are they printing this so late? Like, I think this card would have been like a healthy card to honestly have alongside Monkey Dory in the format. So I do kind of agree with that.
Well,
But
I think it's probably one of those things where the card ended up being better than they thought it was going to be. To be
yeah,
honest,
that's fair. This might be like them patching Monkey Dory for sure. They might be like, all right, it's always kind of weird why they don't come up with like a better way to release cards to fix those problems though. I wonder what that process is like, where it's like once they what does it take for them to think that something is a problem, and then how long does it take, because this could have come out in the Mega Evolution set theoretically, but it didn't. It took until Inferno X for this card to come out, so it does make me wonder, is it something they naturally wanted to do, is have this kind of card like this exists, or is this for like future cards as well?
yeah.
So like
Well, and
who
it's
knows
not
how
like
it'll
there's
interact with other
anything,
cards in the format.
specific in this set that it's meant to go alongside. I don't feel like,
That is
right?
true. That is true. Um,
Um,
yeah, it could be for future stuff. Maybe they want it consistently alongside something that comes out in the future. Maybe they want to now like it could be one of those things where it's like, we want you to be able to take advantage of Monkey Dory, and now we want you to be able to have like not like a hard counter to Monkey Dory, because Monkey Dory will still be really good even with this card in the format, but we want you to be able to deck build more creatively around Monkey Dory. But we didn't want you to have that. See, I don't know if they're all of a sudden releasing this because it's like, oh no, Monkey Dory's too good. We made a broken card without realizing it. Or if it's just like, we wanted you to be able to take advantage of Monkey Dory in that way, and now we don't want you to be able to take advantage of it in that way. We want to like force the meta to evolve in a different direction. Like I wonder how, I don't know. I would just be curious from like a game design perspective when they make these decisions or how they make these decisions.
yeah. So lots of interesting new cards coming out soon. But it'll be a little while before we get them. We do have a whole new set that'll be legal this week that we'll have to work through and play with before we even really have to think about these cards too much. But yeah, let's go ahead and keep it moving here, Azul, into our next topic, which is the Pittsburgh Regional Championships results. So just a quick recap of Pittsburgh here. 2,691 players, which does make it the largest regional championships of all time. 7 players more than the Atlanta Regional Championships earlier this year. So definitely a big one. Location wise, I think Pittsburgh is a solid location, drivable for a lot of people. Lots of stuff going on downtown. There was like a lot of food trucks and stuff this weekend. There was some sort of like festival or something happening as well this weekend. So there was a lot to do, honestly, in the city. It seemed like I didn't really get to do a lot, but it seemed like there was a lot to do, a lot happening. As far as how the tournament was run for this event, it seemed fine. This was the first US event with the new time rules. Um, 50 minutes plus one. I will say there was a bit of an issue, it seemed like, for people getting into the event in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of that on Twitter, Azul, like people posting the ridiculously long lines wrapped around like the city block waiting to get in. So that is definitely not good. But
Yeah,
once
that's
people got into
unfortunate.
the venue, it seems like things ran pretty good.
Yeah. And we had like, I don't know, we've had similar things come up in the past. Like Portland is the one I remember most recently. And but they'll make sure like every competitor gets their fair round. Either if they start the round early, they'll give like the competitors who flood in late time extensions, or they just kind of wait till everyone gets in to like start the round. It is one of those things with like a convention like this where we'll probably consistently continue to have that problem. But I
There's
feel like
not
for like concerts, there's like a 2 hour period or whatever where people are filtering into a venue. When if it's a convention, not everyone's showing up at the same time to get into the convention. But for a tournament, everyone has to be there at the same time to compete. The vast majority of people who are showing up for this. So I don't know. Like, is there a solution to this? I don't actually know if there is. Is there more entrances that could have been opened to allow people in, or no? And it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like, well, everyone's showing up at the same time, so this is the process. I don't know. Maybe they need to open like maybe they need to have the hall be open sooner, even if you're not competing for like until like 2 hours from when they open the hall or something like that. Like encourage
yeah,
people to
like
filter in
open it at
sooner.
like 6:30 or something like that in the
Yeah.
morning.
Like whenever staff shows up and can get ready to allow people to come, because not that many people are going to show up that early anyways. But if you get 1,000 people an hour ahead of time into the venue, like you're not going to have as big of a problem later on, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they could have just opened up more entrances as well. I don't know, like the logistics of everything.
I do think there was like 2 security checkpoints that they were feeding everyone through.
Okay, so maybe it is just a situation of they could have had more but didn't do it, which would beg the question as to why. Why
And
wouldn't
yeah, and I
they?
don't know if it's more of a organizer planning issue or a convention center planning issue.
Yeah,
Like I don't know the total situation there, but yeah, like you said, there's just not really a great efficient way to get 5,000 people through a door in a 30-minute window,
yeah, yeah.
in a safe manner because they were doing like bag checks and like having, well, they weren't really doing bag checks. They were just having you walk through a metal detector with your bag, but you had to remove a laptop or electronic device if you had one.
Yeah.
Every single video game player has a Switch, right? So that just adds to the time. Um, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be some line, but I think trying to find ways to alleviate it as much as possible would be good. And they've done that. Like, it seems like they tried to do that this year with the competitor pickup times, right? Where you had like a scheduled time to
Yeah.
go pick up your badge. Um, there was also still a really long line, but it was because people were in line before their scheduled pickup time. Um,
That's
so
the yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they'll come up with, like, ways to make it smoother in the future, or hopefully they do. I mean, but I guess maybe one of the things is that maybe there is no way. There's only so many entrances into a building, of course, and, they can only afford to have so many open. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I'm sure it's one of those things where they could communicate with the convention center, though, because it's like the people who, like the security stuff, they work for the convention center. They don't work for, like, Gaming Gen, right? Like, so there's these 2 separate entities coming together to like make everything work smoothly. So maybe they just need to be more communicate a little bit better with the convention center staff and be like, okay, we need more we need more entrances open or whatever. Or maybe it's one of those things where there's only that many people working that day and that's all they got. So yeah, I
all
did
right,
see it
well,
the pictures on Twitter and everything.
yeah. Well, let's take a look at the meta for the event before we talk about the
Oh, one
results.
thing I did want to mention,
Yeah, go ahead.
because this is like something that was definitely going to be interesting heading into the new time rules was like the tie rate at these tournaments. Um, and oh, I did miss it. Let's see. Oh, there it is. For Frankfurt, it was 16%, and I believe for
Normal.
Pittsburgh, it was 15. So completely normal to what we've seen. So despite losing +2 turns at the end of the game, there's been about the same amount of ties as there was last season. Nothing crazy. Monterrey, I think, was 19, but the tournaments in Mexico have just had really high tie rates. So I don't know. Like all the ones last season had high tie rates as well, I believe. So
It's probably part of that might just be like the player base plays in less tournaments,
yeah,
right?
like
And
the
so they're less used to like tournament proceedings and being mindful of the clock and stuff like that. That's
yeah
probably got to have
they're
some
just not
sort of
as
impact on it.
yeah. I'd imagine they're just not as familiar with best out of three. I think for sure is probably the reason, which
So,
is
I
fair.
mean, this is evidence that
Player base has adjusted, or it didn't actually matter to have the +2 turns to like mitigate more
yes.
ties.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
that's what I was gonna say because that was one of the things that with the announcement, one of the things they said was that in the current rule set with 50 minutes plus 3 turns, a large amount of those plus 3 turns games end up in a tie anyways.
Yeah, yeah,
And you could say that this data backs that up.
yeah, for sure. And it could be like, yeah, it also could be the player base adjusting, more gentlemen's agreements concluding with one player conceding to the other, or more gentlemen's agreements in general being offered. But yeah, all we can go off of for sure is that, irrelevant of what the players are choosing to do, the tie rate is about the same as last season so far. And I can't imagine, like, well, we'll see what the next couple tournaments bring for sure. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. It's definitely worth it. But I would guess that it's probably going to be about the same as last season throughout. Um, yeah, and also maybe just like, I feel like there has been kind of like a general push in the community, like the idea of, I mean, a lot of people are like unhappy with like the current procedures around like prize checking and all that stuff, but it feels like in general there's been like it feels like a general emphasis on playing faster is really important. So I feel like maybe that's just kind of been trickling through players' actual play pretty consistently. So that could be like the factor as well.
Let's look at the meta for the event. So for some reason, the graphic and the data that Robin has here on Limitless, I guess it's not that different actually. Oh, never mind. It's just the big difference is that Gardevoir here is broken up between Gardevoir and Jellicent. Actually, if I do this, does that change it? No, because it groups all the Dragon Bolts together. Okay.
Yeah. You could just
Um,
look at this and then like add the percentage.
yeah. So Gardevoir with Gardevoir Jellicent as well being kind of included into the mix was the most popular deck day one. And it's been a while since Gardevoir's been the most popular deck. I think probably not since the rotation has Gardevoir been the most popular deck. But it's won the most tournaments. Are people finally coming around? Is Gardevoir going to be the most popular deck right now?
Yeah, it feels like maybe people just got I don't know, got the memo. I guess, yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense, to be honest, for it to be the most popular deck. And I guess from here we could see an adjustment where, oh, it's kind of tough because like one of the biggest determining factors always is just going to be what do the best players play. And currently, the best players are choosing to play Gardevoir and a deck that is unfavored against Gardevoir in Paul Dusnor. Um, so I think, and also I guess with this as well, like there's not a major tournament still in this format. Like we're getting the mega set before what's it called happens. So I don't know how much evolution we'll see of that. But here we have seen, finally, it feels like enough of the player base come around to like be like, oh, we should just be playing Gardevoir, right? But it feels like it took a long time to get here. Like feels like a lot of people, including myself, had written off Gardevoir multiple times throughout the last couple of formats. Have been like, it's good, it's not a bad play, but it doesn't feel like the best play, or it feels like maybe a little bit of a risky play. But now we've kind of come to the point where it's like, nope, probably should just be playing Gardevoir. And up until this point, it never felt like the metagame had to truly adjust to deal with it. And then I don't know, the mega set might not change that much, so maybe we do get to see that evolution where it's like, okay, now we're going to start to actually see people like bringing the Charizards, bringing the Golden Ghost, and maybe finally drop the Pult Dustnor. So like the evolution of where the format and meta goes from here will be interesting for sure. Now that Guardy has finally been like, it always has been there because it's literally won everything up till this point, but now it feels like it's like there in terms of meta percentage and maybe like community wide agreement on where Gardevoir is as a deck.
Coming up behind it is Dragapult Dusknoir, Holding Strong being still a popular meta deck.
Yeah, I mean, not surprised at all. And then, I mean, if you added straight Pult to that, Pult would be by far the most popular deck, I think.
Yeah.
If you want to get Pult Zard involved in there as well, so still a lot of people are still playing a lot of Pults, despite knowing Gardevoir's power and expected probably increase in popularity from last weekend to this weekend. And it still did pretty good as well, right? And you have a lot of really, really good players bringing
Yep.
it. Like I said, like the good players, the secondary deck for good players of playing of a deck is Poltnor. Or maybe you could even argue maybe like the skill disparity difference or whatever. Like more good players are maybe even playing Poltnor than Guardy, but it's maybe close overall. And then after that, we did have Golden Go, which is broken up here between Golden Go and Golden Go Joltik.
Yep.
And we've talked about this before. Like we both think it's more of a Joltik deck than a Golden Go deck, but
Right.
same difference here. A lot of Golden Go still. And what was the highest placing Golden Go actually at the tournament?
There's one in
One
top
cut.
8.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. But I still think a pretty weak showing overall from Golden Go. One in top 8, and then the next one was a Golden Go Joltik at 13th, but you compare that to like Gardevoir's or even Poltnor's success overall. Even though it was, if you put them both together, that's like 19, or that's 19% of the metagame, and it feels like Golden Ghost still had a pretty underwhelming weekend back to back times now.
Yeah, definitely. And then Raging Bolt still remains pretty popular, and I think the highest placing Raging Bolt was top 32. I want to say no, there was one in 2 in top 32. It looks like.
Okay, yeah. So still okay. And then I think the big difference maker there, I mean, Raging Bolt wasn't as popular as the other decks, but the biggest difference is like, the better players are choosing Poltnor and Gardevoir, and we see that in in terms of the results of the tournament, like not just like like what won or what got second, but just like overall consistency for results.
Yeah.
A lot of Guardian Poltnor at the top.
Yeah, and Raging Bolt was definitely losing to both of those things on the weekend, it looks like.
Yeah, did not have, it was like close there against Poltnor, but did not have a great time against Gardevoir for sure.
Oh, it actually won more games than it lost against Poltnor, but it just tied a lot.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, but isn't
Wait,
doesn't the
no.
Limitless
I
thing
literally
like,
just
oh no.
said it backwards.
How did the Limitless thing calculate for ties again? Isn't it
A
like,
tie is 1/3 of a win.
okay. Yeah, I forgot.
And then underneath Raging Bolt, we've got Golden Go Joltik and Joltik Box. And like we've both said, and like you just mentioned, we both kind of just feel like it's just two Joltik toolbox variants, right?
Yeah.
So really, you've got a situation where it's like a top 5 decks that are 10% meta share each, right?
Yeah.
So
Pretty
and
much.
that doesn't really that's like really top heavy, I feel like. Uh More so than usual. Like I feel like usually we'll look at this graphic and it'll be like, oh yeah, there's a 6% and a 7% deck, and they are there's a lot more off the list. There's a lot more other decks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because especially if you group Joltik
Usually.
Toolbox and Dango Jolt. Well, yeah, I mean, I think Joltik Box is just a bad Joltik Dango deck, or just like a worse version of the deck, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, basically it's just like 10, 10, 10. Well, then we get to 12, 14, 15, and that's making up, was it like 66% of the meta, right? Because 34, 34% of the decks. It is, I guess it is fairly top heavy. And there are some other decent decks, right outside of that. I mean, Zorarch won the whole thing. Zorarch's not here. Flareon Box, Terra Box, stuff like that are not represented in these top 6. So there's still some really strong decks outside of them. But it is like a top heavy meta, or it feels pretty more top heavy than average for sure.
And then really the only change going from day 1 to day 2 is that Joltik Box drops off, like straight Joltik Box, and then Ogre Ogre Pawn Toolbox creeps
Terra
back
Box.
there.
Yeah.
Terra Box. Dude, I could not think of the word
Yeah.
Terra for some reason. I was looking real hard and it was not there. It did not exist.
Yeah, and then I guess the deck that had the biggest bump was Golden Go Joltik, which does that make sense? I don't know if that 100% makes sense. Like Joltik Box could fall off, and Golden Go Joltik doesn't need to necessarily have an increase in a bigger increase in today too, but I guess it thrived the most. I mean, Gardevoir had a pretty good uptick as well. Yeah, the Terra Box did sneak in there. We did see some Shamans. I think I saw Owen Dalgard play the Shaman in Poltnor.
Lance had it too in his top 8 deck.
Oh, did Lance play it as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so we saw some Shamans show up, but it wasn't like Gardevoirs were all of a sudden adding Shaman or anything like that. So
yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the people in top 32 played it.
What is that? 2 Grims, which it's usually in Grim. Yeah, the Pulse and the Zard are like the big ones that are including it all of a sudden.
And then this Ethan's Typhlosion.
Oh, right outside there was a Gardevoir though that did include it. So
yeah, 36th.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Mikhail was on stream at one point. But yeah, let's look at the standings here and look at what did well. And as you mentioned, Liam Halliburton gets the win with in Zorarch. And this was a dominant tournament from Liam as well.
Yeah.
He started 12-0 and then gave Brad the merciful ID when Brad still needs a win to get into cut. Brad accepts it because this matchup is really bad. And then Brad won his winning in, and then obviously ID'd there. It would have been kind of sick for Liam to
18-0.
18-0. He
Yeah.
he definitely could have done it,
Yeah.
but I respect him still just making the best possible decision for himself, which is to give the Gardevoir player and Brad a chance to make cut because he wants to hit that and cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
He honestly maybe should have scooped Brad in, honestly, right?
No, because then he could have whiffed.
Oh, he would have
If
had
he'd
to
ace
play an
him,
ace
yeah,
in.
he might have had to play.
Yeah.
He would have to if he scooped to Brad, he has to win his next round. But if he IDs with Brad, he's always guaranteed like top 2 seeds. So
Yeah.
it makes the most sense because you're dodging a round of cut, and then giving Brad the best chance to make it into cut. So, and then the ID with Destin at that point, you're going to be first seed if you ID, so you may as well just ID
Yeah.
because you can't go with the undefeated run anyways. So just take a mental break there, and then yeah, it's a pretty dominant win. Liam's second regional championship win. The last one he won was, I think, the biggest regional championship of all time, and now he has won the biggest regional championship of all time again.
And two
Um,
different sides of the story here, right? When he won Orlando, it was 1 week removed from EUIC,
yeah,
where he said, I'm just going to copy Tord's deck. He did that, changed like one card and
yeah,
won the tournament. And then this time he has his own deck, his homebrew, this is the deck he played at Worlds, but a pretty different list. He played Darmanitan in his ends deck at Worlds
yeah,
and
yeah. And
then changes it up.
He's been playing Zorarch in general for a long time now. I think probably definitely got a little bit of inspiration from Fernandez,
Yeah.
Gabriel, and Cifuentes, Marco, with the Toad Scroll inclusion. And then, but he still stuck true with his. He's like been playing the Cyrano ends PP up combo for a while. Didn't go to the Janines or anything like that, and stuck with the Cyrano over like the research build or the TM Evo Arvin build. Still believed in the Cyrano. Just had to get the Toad Scroll in there to shore up the Golden Gun matchup because yeah, the Darmanitan is definitely not good enough to shore up the Golden Gun matchup, but the Toad Scroll definitely is.
So massive props to Liam for sure. Liam is a part of the Trashalanch podcast, so we'll give a little plug to that if you guys want to. I'm sure they'll talk about it this week. I actually think I saw
Yeah.
Mikey tweet that Liam and Abon will both be on the Trashalanch podcast this week talking about the tournament run. So be sure to tune into that. Good friends over there. For sure. And speaking of Abon and Liam, the finals, I think that is probably the biggest story on the weekend is this finals match. Also, okay, I do have to say, like 50 match points. Is
Yeah,
that the
he
most match
had
points anyone's ever had in a tournament? That's probably is,
probably. Yeah,
right?
he had 36 match points playing against someone, or 37 match points playing against someone with like 31, 36 to 31 or something like ridiculous at some point in the tournament.
50 match points.
Yeah, that probably is the record. I have to imagine that's the record. Not that it
Holy
means a whole
cow.
ton, but like, yeah, I think he probably holds the record for the match points. And yeah, the finals was uh interesting for sure the way it went down. Or something else I was gonna mention about it. The game that they were so the matchup's really favored for Liam. Before we get
Yeah.
into like the most interesting part about it, the matchup is really favored for Liam. We actually saw Liam dismantle a Jelly Guardy. I think it was Rahul earlier in the tournament.
Yes.
But game one was actually developing where a Bond possibly could have won it. I think Liam maybe played the early game a little bit too slow, and he ended up prizing one of his boss. So it was in a weird board state where Liam kind of like they both had 2 Monkey Dory set up, but a Bond was doing 20 damage with Furlish every turn. So he was out damaging Liam. And if Liam ever took a prize card, it would give a Bond Gust in Counter Catcher. And if Liam took a knockout, a Bond would be able to, most likely, based on the board state and his hand and everything, would be able to go Jellicent, Counter Catcher, KO the second Reshiram in play with Jellicent. Liam had already played a boss, and Liam's second boss was prized in the back half of the prize cards. So as long as when Liam eventually took a knockout, like he would have to, a Bond would win if a Bond just had Counter Catcher Jellicent and would have won game 1. And then if he just cheeses game 2 or game 3, he actually could have won it. The matchup was really bad, of course, so it would have been tough to do. But the way it kind of played out in the early game, I think maybe Liam played it a little bit too slow, or maybe should have just like tried to get his Reshiram out of the active because he just kind of left his first Reshiram in the active, and it eventually did get KO'd, which led to a board state where a Bond might have been able to walk away at the win, except He had a 59 card deck. So he ended up getting a game loss in the middle of game one, which was shaping up to be a really, really cool match. So I really, really would have loved to have seen the conclusion of it.
Yeah, so basically what happened is during the finals match, at some point, one of the head judges comes onto the stage, they stop the game, and they start counting Aban's cards in play. They count the cards he has in his hand, on his board, his deck, discard pile prizes, all that stuff. And he's got 59 cards. One of the rules in the Pokemon TCG is you have to have 60 cards. Like there's not 61, not 59. You have to have 60 cards when you set up to play a game. So if you ever set up to play a game and you do not have exactly 60 cards, it's actually outlined in the rule book that it is a penalty and you receive a game loss for this.
Yeah.
And the mystery of what exactly happened is that during Aban's top 4 match, when he on the left side of the table here beat Cal, which would put Aban into the finals, Aban threw his headset down onto the table, popping off, excited, showing some great emotion to get into the final match. But in doing so, hurled his monkey Dory over to Cal's side of the table, and then Cal went to pick up his deck and inadvertently scooped up Aban's Monkey Dory along with his deck.
Yeah. And it's just such a crazy set of circumstances to lead to the inevitability that was like a really cool game that ends up being gotten. I mean, it just getting a match game loss in the match. So the game that like Aban had a chance to win and then only needs like Liam to like dead draw one of the next two or like draw really poorly or something. Maybe something crazier than what just happened to win the finals led to a game loss. And I can understand like how in the moment it was like super deflating for Aban and just like it's like, man, how I can't the matchup is terrible. I had like this moment where I could have won. And then he ends up conceding the match, which I don't really like I saw a lot of people like question that, but I really hold it against him to be honest. Like the game you were playing in front of you, you had a chance to win. And we're actually in like a favorable position based on like all full information. And he was playing down the line that like gave him a chance to win. I think I even saw Liam flip over his prize cards at the end of the game or like after he had conceded
Mhm.
completely and like showed him the boss and it was like, yeah, if you have the play, eventually I do actually just lose. And you can see that Bond like throw his hands up or something like that. So I can understand it being like deflating enough where you just would want to concede. And Bond did concede after getting just a game loss. So it wasn't a match loss. It was just a game one loss. But yeah, he could have played it out, but I definitely understand the frustration of the situation for Aban and conceding. I don't think it's like that big of a deal. I've seen some people have that take, and I also saw some people have some other bad takes where it was like, how did the judges not catch that? How's anyone catching that? Like, you can't put that on anyone to catch that. Aban's Monkey Dory made it into Cal's deck, and I don't think it's Cal's fault either. Like, it's just kind of
Hey,
like the sleeve colors are different, but like, how are you going to tell in
listen,
that moment to like?
all I'm gonna
Uh,
say is that it wouldn't have happened if Aban had pile shuffled his deck.
if you had pile, it's funny though. He did pile count. I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the
Oh wait, really?
game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Oh well, that's just
But
a mistake then. No,
I'm
but
not
for anyone
100%
who
sure on
doesn't
that.
know, yeah, I mean, it does suck that it happened like this, right? To
Yeah.
no fault of Aban, right? He loses, he gets given a game loss. Um, but I say to no fault of Aban, but also at the same time, it is, as outlined in the rulebook, the player's responsibility to make sure that they have what they need when they sit down to play a game. I know Aban had not gone very far or gone anywhere since his top 4 match. It's his top 4 ended and it was right into the finals. So I can
Yeah.
understand not sitting down and counting your deck, but I imagine Aban probably and most competitive players all I mean, I know you do this when you sit down at the table for your game, you count to make sure you have 60 cards, yes?
Yeah. Yeah. So like I count to make sure I have 60 and I check my sleeves in between every single round. And for like top cut, and this isn't like the judge's fault either. In between, like at the beginning of top cut, they take every top cut player's deck and they deck check them. But after that, they don't deck check anymore, but they do hold on to the decks. Like they don't
Yes.
allow the players to hold their decks anymore. They get to play with them each round, and when they're eliminated, they get it back, obviously. But as they progress through each round of top cut, the judges keep their deck until the next round of top cut, until they play their next opponent. So they don't deck check between every round though, because I don't know, it definitely seems unnecessary. Uh, but yeah, like even in those situations, even in between rounds of cut, like I will always personally count and check my sleeves. Going like they'll give me my deck back, and then I'll take it out of my deck box and count, make sure I have 60. Check my sleeves. Usually, I do it in between rounds, like during a normal Swiss round. But if it's in top cut, I don't have access to my deck until the next round. I guess you could like theoretically ask the judge if you could just count to make sure you have 60 and check your sleeves before you give it to them. You could probably do that as well, and that would have also worked in this situation. It's definitely something I recommend to people to do every time. Pile counting is a little bit unnecessary. If you're gonna do it once before a match, sure, go for it. But besides that, doing like pile counting in between games is like a little cringe. Once before the match is fine. But you should definitely between each round of a tournament, you should definitely count. Make sure you have 60 cards, whether it be pile counting or just doing it at a table before you set up for your next match. And check your sleeves as well. Make sure you don't have any things marked or dinged or anything like that. Change the sleeves out. Just protect yourself at all costs as you possibly can to avoid situations like this.
And then just to show in the rule book kind of what is outlined here, this is under section 5.6.1, which is Pokemon TCG deck legality. If you scroll down to point 2 here, major deck legality infractions result in an opportunity for a competitor to gain an advantage, usually through ambiguity or discrepancy caused by dissimilarity between the deck list and the physical deck, or by a pattern of marked cards. Examples include the following. Very first one, a competitor's deck or deck list does not contain 60 cards. And major deck legality recommended starting penalty is a game loss.
Yeah. So definitely a fine. It's like a really unfortunate, but I think it is just like,
Yeah.
this is the correct way for things to have been handled. It's correct for him to have gone a game loss.
And it didn't even seem like a Bond really objected to it. He kind of just like
Yeah.
accepted the situation, right? Like
Yeah.
it sucks, but it is like
The-
kind of just like an is what it is type moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of those situations where it's no one's fault and the correct penalty. You don't even want to call it like a punishment, right? It's just like the correct penalty was applied. It's no one's fault. The correct penalty was applied, and we go next.
Just a crazy thing that happened, a freak accident. But we can talk a little bit about Abon's deck, which was the Gardevoir Jellicent deck.
And I
So
don't.
it's not too often that you see a player win a tournament and then play
Yep.
a different deck 1 week later.
It's not that different. It's still guard. Like a lot of it is fundamentally the same for for a lot of your matchups.
Sure. But
It is
usually
different.
people literally just run back the same 60.
That is true. That is true. Same 60, or like you change like a card, right? You change
Right.
like whatever you felt like the flaw was, in the deck. I was actually, you said that, I wanted to go check. Ooh, it was 3 weeks different. Okay. I was gonna shout out Owen Kammerman for the back-to-back wins in Dortmund into Utrecht, but it was separated by 3 weeks. So I was like, how far apart was the?
With his 2 different decks.
Yeah, did Chi and Pao into Mew VMAX. But yeah, crazy back-to-back weekends. I think once again, Henry Chow gets credit for the list. So I think just kind of putting that out there is definitely worth it. Like Abon winning and then getting to the finals is insane, and he deserves mad props for that. But I think just like, Henry Chow not winning either of these tournaments, getting second, and then at this one he still got top 32, and he was in top contention for a while. But like his influence on the game, I think is worth noting as well in this Jellicent almost takeover. Liam put a stop to the Jellies, completely taking over the tournament.
Yeah, so I think the big standout from this list to me is the air balloon. That's kind of like the big inclusion to just, I mean, a secret box leads to turn 1 item lock.
Yeah, even an Arvin will lead to it pretty often as well, and that's like a
Well,
pretty
yeah,
powerful.
Arvin gets you secret box, so that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you don't have to get the secret box. You could just get a nest ball and an air balloon. But yeah, it's a pretty powerful option to have, right? There's only one team, even in this build, because of that, of course, the option of going in with the Oceanic Gloom.
Yep.
The Oceanic Gloom of the Frillish to initially establish item lock. Like that's a pretty powerful option for an already pretty powerful deck to have advantage of. And you can go so much further than it with this deck. You can go from Frillish into Jellicent on the next turn, or you can just stay as Frillishes, get a couple Frillish set up, retreat between them, Gardevoir Accelerating Energy, use Monkey Dories. You're doing like 80 damage a turn while your opponent's like item locked. Like, yeah, so the deck is definitely a little bit different in how it can tackle situations and matchups. At its core, though, it still is that Gardevoir deck. Mostly has the similar matchup spread, and like the main reason that I believe that they switched to this build. Bond, Henry Chow, and crew was uh it's favored against the other Gardevoir decks. And we did see Aban pretty handedly beat Calvin in the top 4 match. Calvin did defeat Brad, who was playing a Jellicent Guardy build, a little bit different than this, in top 8. But yeah, that's like one of the main reasons I think they pivoted to the Jellicent for this weekend. They were like, Gardevoir's on the map. It's going to be super popular. We want that edge in the mirror. So they pivoted to the Jellicent and almost got all the way, but it still worked out pretty well. I mean, there was how many? There was 2 jellies. I mean, Gardevoir in general still did pretty good.
Yeah.
The next 4 decks are Gardevoir under
Yeah.
Liam Zorarch.
And Rahul played the same 60 as Aban and Henry, getting a
Yep.
3rd place. It's actually really funny because joking, Rahul caught a stray on the episode last week about how he never won a majors, and then he was right here in
Yeah.
top 4 with a chance to win a majors, but unfortunately was trounced by Liam handily. Yeah, they tried to put that matchup on stream, and we pivoted away from that.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was over in
glad.
like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys did not. That was a good call. People even in my chat were like, "What? Why would they put a Guardian Mirror over Zorarch Jellicent?" I was like, "You guys want to watch Zorarch Jellicent? Like, why would you want to watch this? Like, that would be terrible. That's
Yeah.
not like the matchup is so one-sided. Let's get Guardian Mirrors, like, especially when one of their different decks as well. There's like a lot more possibility for that back and forth. And we did see
People are
Calvin put up a fight, did take a game.
people
So
I think are just like kind of understandably uh
doubt.
burnt on Guardy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
that is
on
fair.
stream like almost every round. All the best players are playing it. Like it wins every single tournament.
You just need I mean, yeah, it is interesting. This is actually, it kind of comes back to like a little bit of what we were talking about earlier when we mentioned the London Worlds format, where it feels like Pikachu wasn't fully recognized in the format yet to really push Palkia out of it potentially. Similar here, if this format specifically carried on, is this Zorark's time to cause a shift in the metagame that we won't really see? And because who knows what the mega set brings. Maybe the next format, if it's just more of the same, honestly, it's just more of probably Guardy with more tools. Now, maybe it doesn't care about the Zorarch matchup as much or stuff like that, because Guardy is getting, Mega Guardy, the Stadium, new Raltsas, new Curlias, Mega Diancie, which we'll talk about here later on as well. So who knows? But we don't get to see like the evolution of this format specifically. Like maybe Zorarch's takeover was we're just almost there, but now format shifts with a new set, and we'll never truly know.
We got Cal Connor's list here. Pretty similar to the deck that Henry and them played in Monterey. 4 monkey instead of like the 3rd bravery charm, I think, is kind of the big one. There's also only 3 vessels opposed to
Yeah.
the 4th one. I don't know
So
what the
just
other
more.
ad is.
I think that's it. It's just minus Brave Charm, minus Vessel, plus Dark, plus Monkey, right?
Oh, there was only 3. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
3 dark.
yeah.
Yep.
So I think that was the only adjustments there, overall. So it's heavier on the monkeys.
And then Brad, I was actually looking at this earlier. It's actually funny. So this list, look at how many
Oh
people
my
played this list.
gosh.
But do you know why? This is Henry's Worlds list.
Yeah.
So many people probably just picked up this list post Worlds and have been absolutely grinding it ever since Worlds. And then it led to a bunch of people making day 2. So congrats to you. If you're out there, you made day 2 from grinding this deck over the last month. It worked
Yeah, I
out.
know. Some people might have been inspired to continue on with it as well because Bradner, I think, did a master class and was hyping it up post World, saying it was the best deck in the format, as well. Yeah, so people just, I guess, carried on with it. No air balloon though. No turn 1 item lock. The edge, the mirror maybe. That turn
Yeah.
1 ocean.
That air balloon is definitely real good. And then we have Destin Hatcher with Golden Go, the lone Golden Go in cut, and it was a Togekiss build.
Yep. Nothing too crazy as far as the build goes. Did play the tool scrapper, so was doing his part. Doing his part to bring down Gardevoir. Didn't end up working in the end, but the effort is noticed for sure.
Then a couple of Poltnors, Lance Bradshaw with
There's that Shaman.
he had a lot of kind of cutesy stuff in here with the Turo and the Holucha, the Shaman, the the Monkey Dory plus Dusknoir. Like he just played it all, really.
Yeah, I guess. Well, the only thing he doesn't have is rare candy. The only thing he
Right.
didn't play was rare candy. But yeah, he had the Turo in there, the Shaman in there.
The Brock Scouting as well.
A little bit heavier on the supporter
Oops.
Pokemon search.
And then Simon Fang, also on the Poltnor.
Yeah. Once again, no candy. So no candy, no adaptation there. I saw. I think Xander Perot played rare candy, but I think all the Poltnors on stream. I don't think any of them. We saw Rowan. No
Yeah,
one was
Rowan
playing
didn't play
the.
Candy.
No one was playing the candies at all, which was a little bit surprising. I thought we'd see a little bit more adaptation in terms of like people adding like a couple. I didn't think we'd see anyone playing 4.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Jeez, is this all? Is this just Justin Newdorf's list?
It's Justin's list, yeah. And he played the same 16, got top 16. Dude, there was an opportunity on the winning end for it to be a Justin
Yeah.
versus Riley rematch. It was so close, man.
Yeah, they were both on the winning end. It's so tragic because they both tied too. They could have just both been in cut, and
Yes.
even that could have set up for an insane
Oh.
storyline.
Different sides of the bracket. They meet in the finals again. Like, oh, so much potential.
Yeah, it would have gone crazy. You love to see the consistency though, I think, right? Out of the players, the world's finalists, they both got to the winning end for Top Cut. Both tied it, unfortunately, but and was Riley playing the exact same list from Worlds? Not
Yep, sure enough.
quite. Oh yeah, yep. Did not change a card.
Yep,
Ran it
same
back.
60. I mean, it's worked out pretty well for him, I'd say.
Yeah, can't really complain, right?
And then there was 2 players in ASIM, and it was 2 Terabox. So Top Cut, whenever we showed like the stream graphic, it looked a little worse than it was because it was like 4 Gardevoir, but there was a couple Terabox in there.
Yeah.
They both just lost in ASIM.
And probably to Gardevoirs as well, because it is not a good matchup. But yeah, this is Alex Szymanski. It's been a while since I think we've seen Szymanski in cut, but he's been playing this Terrabox since Worlds. Did he go to Monterey? I actually don't know.
think so.
But yeah, the Terrabox with like the 1-2 EV line. At Worlds, I think it was just a 1-1 Flareon line or 1-1 Leafeon line, excuse me. But now has included the Flareon. Yeah, no Flareon in the Worlds build, but played the played it here.
He literally got second at San Antonio in January, buddy.
Oh, okay. My bad. I apologize, Alex.
That deck was cool too.
Yeah.
And then Solomon Surge also getting Top Cut with Terabox.
It's a cool build too. It's got the Vitality Band and the Tool Scrabber, which gives you a little bit more play against Gardevoir to use the Water Pawn to overcome the Bravery Charms that people put on the Monkey Dories. And then it also allows you to KO a Monkey Dory when it's in the active, which is like one of the this gives you like late game potential against the Gardevoir. You can do some cheesy plays, like a Sob into a Crispin for like 2 prize cards at the end of the game on like 2 Monkey Doors or something like that.
Yeah, you can also like single energy Sob KO a Badoo, right? That's like not irrelevant for a free prize.
Yeah, get in there. So some cool inclusions for sure.
But other than that, I think standouts from the tournament. There was a couple Grimmsnarl, none made it into cut, but we saw JW on stream. The highest finishing one here is Tristan with the Grimmsnarl. Pretty normal looking list. I know you're the resident Grimmsnarl expert here.
I mean, the research count is like low. Usually it's like you're playing like 4-4-4 or something close to that. Pokegears get involved. Tatsugiri gets involved sometimes. So that's like the big standout to me. Is playing the E-Switch, which is also what we saw Mike playing over at Frankfurt. The E-Switch, more more potential for Monkey Dories, which is kind of good, of course. So yeah, I mean, but nothing crazy besides that. It's got all the usual suspects in there.
You mentioned Golden Go Joltik box, pretty normal.
Yeah.
Version of the deck. Then a bunch more Gardevoir, Jellicent, Riley McCain, Justin. That, story, big miss out there. Shoutouts to Young Rong, who's a North Carolina local. Got 17th, his first day too, I think, with Guardy. He actually beat Grant on the second to last round, I think he said. And then a couple Raging Bolts. We'll look at the Raging Bolts real quick.
Nothing. Nothing.
It's
new.
just here. It's here. And then the highest finishing Charizard here, 22nd place. Again, nothing crazy.
Nope, nothing crazy. Although, if you're looking for a crazy Charizard list, well, I don't even know the list available. In Champions League, someone was playing 3 or 4 Jet Energy. I believe they were from I guess we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but yeah, that there if you're looking for a crazy Charizard list, one does exist.
And then I think probably the most unique deck in top 32 has to be the Ethan's Typhlosion.
With Dragapult, which is like something I feel like pretty much everyone, including myself, I played a lot of Typhlosion the last couple of formats. I
Mhm.
completely moved away from the Dragapult. But yeah, there's the Dracloak, and also is playing. Yeah, is not just playing Dracloak as the draw engine, but is playing Dragapult and Luminous Energy, so you can actually attack with the Dragapult.
Definitely, yep. And then one last thing I want to look at here is Liam's. Oh, I got to go back over to Limitless Labs. Scroll down to the 488 people that were in phase 2.
Yeah, a
Uh,
lot.
I wanted to look at his matchups. So, yep, yeah, as I thought, a lot of Gardevoir.
A lot of Jelly Guardy specifically as well, and the percent it was like pretty. I guess like the Jelly Guardies all did float to the top though, right? Like honestly, Jelly Guardy was probably the most successful deck on the week. There wasn't that many people playing Zorarch, but Jelly Guardy was probably the most successful deck on the weekend because it was like 3% Jelly Guardy, 12% normal Guardy, or something like that, or 4 and 11.
Yep. Yeah, it was like 11. Yeah, 11-4. That sounds right. And yeah, that is it for Pittsburgh's top 32. Let's recap our predictions real quick. So, and this is, good time in here. Highest placing Conkeldurr. Azul predicted top 256. I also predicted top 256, but there was actually one
Pulled
in
through
the top 64. Where is it? Shout outs to
right there.
Bennett McKinney here, who got top 64 with Conkeldurr and actually lost the winning end. Yes, Conkeldurr was on the winning end to cut
Again, 2 weeks in a row now because it was
2 weeks
there
in a
last
row.
week. Yeah,
But did lose to Cal Connor's Gardevoir, which is a pretty rough matchup.
yeah, definitely. It was cool to see it get there again, though. Listen, I'm rooting for it. I would love to see
I
Conkeldurr
feel
pull it
like
out.
it's better than you've given it credit for as far as like a meta
Hold
deck
on,
potential goes. Like I think
you
like
also predicted top 256,
I did.
but I'm the
Then we
hater.
predicted. We predicted. That's fair. You know what? Call me out. I deserve that.
I don't know. I just am still pretty underwhelmed by the deck. I'm not gonna lie. Um, like it's one of those things where it's like you have to separate decks to some amount of degree, and it's like um this like if you take 15 meta decks, or if you take like I don't know how many meta decks are there right now. Let's say there's 12. This is probably in the if you put that on the list, this is like in the bottom two. So then at that point, it is just like not very good. But hey, man, listen, I'm still rooting for it. I would love to have seen Bennett in top cut. That would have been sick. We'll see in the future though. We'll see what the future holds for Conkeldurr. We do get the new power premium fighting power tablet thing coming out, so maybe that's a difference maker for it.
That thing. Yep. Next prediction was pick a player to make top cut. You went with Henry Chow, who did get top 32, not quite top cut. I went with
Close.
Caleb Rogerson, who I do believe did unfortunately miss out on phase 2. Yeah, he went 5-3, so you're gonna get the edge here.
Yeah.
Looks like Caleb played Golden Go. He ran it back with the Chansey build of Golden Go.
With
No
the venture
Zacian
bomb.
this time.
Yeah, venture bomb in there for Pikachu and just kind of like building up damage with Monkey Dory in general.
Lost to a Pult and Raging Bolt and a Mirror. Played one Gardevoir.
One Guardy.
Yeah.
Is that actually
He
9
he
different decks?
he made a good
Or
call,
8?
I feel like, with the deck he chose, right? For the meta.
I
But
mean, I'm not convinced Golden Go Chansey is the best way to play Golden. But besides that,
maybe
I mean, Golden Go
that's
seems
fair.
fine. Yeah. I would be unconvinced that Chansey is the way to go. I think there's a couple better routes, but
But then of course your choice Henry got the top 32. His loss is coming to a Guardy Jelly Mirror and a Golden Gold Joltik. And then he
yeah.
tied Terrabox
And
and
Blissey.
Blissey. Wow.
What kind of build was it? Was it just the Monkey Dory?
For Rigoraph. No, yeah. Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
the Shaman has got to be annoying though. I was gonna say you just scream tail all the Monkey Doors and you probably win, but the Shaman there, gotta
There's no
protect.
Bravery Charm, though, so he should be able to get rid of it, right?
Get rid of the Shaman.
Yeah, with Adrenabrain.
We have to have triple Monkey Dory set up to get there. It's a lot.
Sure. You can do it.
Nah, we're bossing those things. They're cooked.
Yeah, I could see this one being an uphill battle for sure.
You can also, but the one thing you can do is you can mind bend the Blissey, I guess. That thing does have. Maybe you're setting up maybe you're setting up the Fergaraf in that matchup because it one hit KOs Gardevoir, right? Wait, what was? Go back to their matchup spread.
Oh,
Pulp.
holy. Yeah, there's some people every tournament who are like, dude, I've played against zero Gardevoir, most popular deck. And then there's people like this who just play nothing but the best deck the whole tournament.
Yeah, well, like May said, Frankfurt played against like 8 or 9 Raging Bolts in a row or something, or like in the tournament, like so.
Holy.
Yeah, just happens sometimes. Hit a good streak or a bad streak. You could hit a bad matchup sometimes. A lot of them.
And then our last prediction was how many Gardevoir would there be in cut? You said 2, I said 3, and the real answer was 4. 4 Guardies in cuts.
Did we get any predictions right? This?
No.
Mm.
No.
Right.
And our other prediction was about the Champions League, and we didn't even get that one right either.
Yeah, but no one was going to predict that. No one was predicting that.
We'll get there eventually. But first, we do have to take a moment to thank our fantastic sponsor, Dragon Shield, for supporting us here at the Uncommon Energy podcast. Of course, Dragon Shield makes some of the best card gaming and tabletop gaming products on the market. We love the sleeves. We use the sleeves exclusively, and they've got the new colors out right now, the Blossom Pastel Duels and the Gooseberry Pastel Duels. Azul's a big fan of the mats. I've been enjoying the classics recently. Lots of great options. You can't go wrong with Dragon Shield. And if you're picking any up, be sure to use our code and our link in the description. Use that code UEPOD and get yourself 5% off. Help support us here on the Uncommon Energy podcast. Thanks as always to Dragon Shield for supporting us.
Yep, definitely appreciate it. All right, Chip. Up next, we got Guess That Flavor Text. This week, you're picking a card. Gonna read me the flavor text on the card, then I have to try and guess which Pokemon and card the flavor text belongs to. If I get it right without using a lifeline, I'll get 4 points. For each lifeline I use, I'll get 1 less point. The lifelines are what set the card is from, what stage the card is, and then read an attack name. I'm ready for this week's flavor text.
You are ready. Okay, yeah, it is my turn to pick, like you said. And just quickly, I will recap our points here. I am still in the lead, 38-33. We'll see if Azul can catch up this week. All right, here we go. Blank is an extremely cunning Pokemon. It feigns weakness to lure in prey, then orders its partner to attack.
Its partner? Oh. I know who this is. It's Tatsugiri. This 100%. I think I just lock it in. It's Tatsugiri. I'm guessing Tatsugiri.
You're just locking it in.
I'm locking in Tatsugiri.
Wow. This has backfired for you multiple times.
You can go ahead and read the lifelines, though, if you want to.
All right. I will read the lifelines, Azul. So Azul's locking in the Tatsugiri guess. I'll read the flavor text one more time for the people at home. Blank is an extremely cunning Pokemon. It feigns weakness to lure in prey, then orders its partner to attack. So this card is from the set Twilight Masquerade.
I mean, I don't know. That might be wrong, but go ahead.
Or Twilight Masquerade. I just said Masquerain, which is a Pokemon. Yeah. Twilight Masquerade. It is a basic. It has the attack Surf.
Yeah, that's it.
And then it also has the ability attract customers.
Yes, let's go. This is huge. This is huge for the believers.
It is Tatsugiri. As much as you love this card and as often as you play it, I thought it would be funny to pick, but I should have known at some point on your stream, just like casually, since you play this card so often, you surely have right-clicked on it on TCG Live and read the flavor text. I should have known.
Yeah. I don't know if I've heard that exact flavor text before or read that one, but I do know the lore of Tatsugiri and Dondozo. Like, I know that lore, so...
I thought you'd be able to get it, but I thought you might have to use a lifeline or two. So that's gonna put a little pressure on me next week. All right, no more easy ones, buddy. No more easy ones. Azul gets a 4-point spike.
This is huge. Only behind by 1 point now. We can close the gap in 2 weeks or take over. Listen, I could take over. Pretty hype. It's pretty hype. Appreciate it, Chip.
I gave you a layup there, buddy. All right, well, let's wrap up this week's episode, of course, before we get to our bonus episode, by talking about the Champions League Yokohama. Took place this past weekend over in Japan. Now, there is no Limitless page for this tournament yet, but we can see the results on Pokeka Book, which is the Japanese tournament results website.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
oh yeah,
just want
go
to give them a
ahead.
shout. Yeah, super great resource because people are always wondering what's going on in Japan. Of course, there is Limitless. I assume Robin will have the Champions League up at on Limitless at some point, and there's like the City League's results on Limitless as well. But if you want, if you ever know something's going on in Japan and it's not on Limitless, Pokabook.com is the place to go. They have everything over there for tournament results in Japan.
Yeah, good account to follow over on Twitter as well. Lots
Yep.
of always tweeting deck lists, meta shares, stuff like that. So
Yeah, go check them out.
Pokeka_book. And here is the website. And yeah, let's hop right into it and start with the winner of the whole thing. It is a Terra Box deck.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's nothing crazy. I mean, okay, the one thing that stands out to me is this thing is like sometimes you see some of these Terra box lists. Like I'm thinking about the one that some Japanese players played to one of the Australian regionals, where it was like they had like 5 energy and Pidgey out. Like it was just like a super thinned out list. So the cards that like stand out to me in this list that are not included but are not being played is like only 3 Crispin and no Super Rod is definitely interesting. But
There is a Lily's
got double
Determination in
vessel.
here.
Yeah.
And that's not a card I would have anticipated being super good in this type of deck.
Well, I think it maybe is because like they usually play 1 research, but you have to discard your hand. This deck is literally all combo pieces. The whole deck is combo pieces. So the lilies kind of make sense, I feel like. Especially when like turn 2 going first. Like if you can set up the water pawn attack and then follow up with a Lily's Determination refresh, like that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. So I do like the idea of it for sure. Also a big fan of the Judge. They are playing the Judge. And something that we've been seeing more and more Terra Box players cut and is absent from this list as well. No Briar. Which I mean at this point, maybe that's just the best way to play the deck, to be honest. I haven't played Terra Box in a little while, and it's definitely one of those cards that it feels more situational the more you play with the deck. And yeah, no Briar in here. Also, no stadium bump, which is another thing that we've been seeing a lot of players not do. They have no bump for their own area 0 to remove liabilities. That situation just doesn't come up that much for you to fully be able to like pull off the whole combination of like bumping your area 0, getting rid of enough liabilities where it matters, and pulling off a big play on the turn. So makes a little bit of sense there as well. But yeah, Terra Box takes it all down, and they did defeat what is generally a favorable matchup. And on top of that, I mean, it's best of 1. They beat Gardevoir, which is a favorable matchup for Gardevoir. And this Gardevoir list plays Klefki as well, which is like the Gardevoir player gets to go, if they get to go first, push Klefki turn 1, you shut down the Fan Rotom, that kind of shuts down the deck pretty aggressively.
Yeah, so there's some interesting stuff in this deck. First off, a bunch of the new cards, right? The Ralts, the Curlia, both just kind of straight up upgrades. Ralts has a collect attack to draw a card. The Curlia has an attack that lets you search your deck for 3 Pokemon and put them in your hand, right? Or is it 3 Psychic Pokemon? It
3
might just be
Pokemon,
3
I think. Yeah, I think
Pokemon.
it might just be 3 Pokemon.
So that's like pretty
Pretty
good.
gross. Yeah.
And then it's of course got 4 Lily's Determination, and then also the new Psychic Stadium where you can discard energy from your hand to draw cards for each Psychic Pokemon you have in play. And then the big one is the Diancie EX, the Mega Diancie EX.
Wait, there is more omissions in this list than I thought there was. There's
Yeah.
no Clefairy, no
Yep.
Mew. They're playing Fez. A lot of lists that we've seen that we saw on stream, I think all the other lists were playing no Fez to like synergize with the state. We saw a list with 2 Mew in it, actually. Maybe they took their Mew. That's why they didn't have Mew. We did see a list on stream that had 2 Mew in it. So yeah, there's way more omissions than I thought. No Team Evo, of course, but they are leaning fully into the Lily's Determination, just heavy draw support, which I don't hate that, to be honest. And that makes a little bit more sense maybe to include the Klefki for that reason. Maybe this list is choosing first and then giving themselves like potentially an extra turn to get to the Guardy through evolving through Curlia without using TM Evo and getting that involved. And then 4 Monkey Dory without 4 Dark as well. Like, there's a lot of omissions from this list is interesting for sure. No Super Rod. Most people are on the double stretcher, Super Rod, triple stretcher here. Definitely doing some things a little bit different. But Lily's Determination definitely changes the flow and consistency of decks for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of draw supporters here. No Arvin. It's 4 Iono, 3 Research, 4 Lily's Determination. And then I'll just reread the Mega Diancie for anyone listening who maybe doesn't totally remember exactly what it does. It's 270 HP Mega Pokemon EX, so it gives up 3 prize cards when it is KO'd. Mega Pokemon EX. It's a basic Diamond Coat for the ability. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. And then Garland Ray, 120 times, discard up to 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage for each card you discarded in this way.
Yeah, so it's not hitting like super hard, but it's got a lot of HP. It's not getting KO'd super easily, especially in like the early game situations. I don't actually know like the most powerful use cases for it. One of the cool things about it's got a lot of HP and it's not weak to dark, so you can send it up against Grimmsnarl, punch them. You're not getting one hit KO'd by Dragapult either. You can put a Bravery Charm on it as well, and you're looking at some big HP. So maybe this is like how you combat one of the tools. I mean, a lot of Monkey Dory is also pretty good against Dragapult, but maybe Diancie gets involved in there as well. And also discards the energy, which can be cool for guaranteeing kind of energy and like getting more energy in play to use with your Monkey Dories, right? Because it discards the energy attached to it, so you could put them back and play with card for. Monkey Dory moves the damage over. Repeat. So I mean, I guess we could like, yeah, our prediction. One of the predictions we had, or the only prediction we had for this was which Mega Pokemon did we think would do the best? And I said Mega Gardevoir, which is a little bit of a cop out because it's definitely the most successful Mega so far. And a Gardevoir deck did go the furthest. That would include a Mega, but it was Mega Diancie, no Mega Gardevoir in this list.
Yep. And I said Mega Mawile, and I do not believe, I think there was one Mega Mawile, but it wasn't even in an Archaludon deck. It was in a like toolbox deck, yeah.
Ooh. Oh,
Which we'll talk
yeah.
about. Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah.
it in a minute. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool things to break down here. So yeah, let's keep it moving. The big theme we're gonna see here is that a lot of decks are playing Lily's Determination,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
pretty good.
not really a surprise. So here we've got a Dragapult deck, and besides the Lily's Determination, I think the biggest standout here to me is the inclusion of Eerie as a supporter.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't even know what I just don't know what they're targeting, right? Like I haven't like thought about it very hard. If I knew what they were targeting, I'd probably have like a better opinion, better analysis of it. But I just do not know what they're targeting with the Lilies or with the Eerie. It obviously discards items, but like there's got to be like a matchup or a situation. Maybe it's just like before they go into the Badoo, but it's like a one of. Like you're not even gonna find it that often when you break your Badoo lock. So I don't know. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe it's for after you break the Badoo in theory, but like, yeah, you got to
Yeah.
find it, and it's going to be harder because you're usually breaking the Badoo early. I don't know. Erie's, it's like a card that I could just see. I mean, it's like, it's not often played in like an attacking deck like this, right?
Yeah.
But it's like the type of thing where if you just rip some random resource from someone's hand at like the middle of the game, it can
You can
just
play
be
around that.
game. It can be
Yeah.
game shifting, right? And who is going to play around a Dragapult player having an Eerie in their deck without knowing about it, right?
Yeah. And it's one of
Um,
those things where you can argue that like this card is better in best of one than best two out of three, right? For
Definitely.
sure. So that's like another thing you could apply to it as well. I generally don't like that mindset, but there is some validity to it. Like statistically, a card like a one of like an Eerie is better in best of one than best two out of three because your opponent can't just be like, oh, you hit my good card, concede, let's go to game two, and now I'm just gonna beat you because I know you have Eerie, right? They don't have that. They don't have that out per se. And these tournaments are so massive. Like I don't even know how much, if any, scouting gets done in like these tournaments because these are. I think that people in my chat were saying there were 6,000 players at this tournament,
yeah.
which is just absurd.
Then apparently, according to Google Translate, we've got Marnie's Orbeetle here.
Dude,
Marnie's Grimmsnarl.
I miss Orbital VMAX now that now that I love that
Dude, I
card. One
thought
of my
about
favorites.
Orbeetle VMAX earlier too because you were talking about Dusknoir, Dark Palm, and one of my favorite expanded decks I ever built was right when Orbeetle VMAX came out. Expanded Orbeetle VMAX Dusknoir. It was so cool.
It's our first. It's our first duck appearance. Love to see the duck making an appearance. No Shaman in this build though, which is interesting. I think we get the whole squad in there. A little bit of Duck, a little bit of Shaman. What is Shaman? A Hedgehog?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Grim putting in a little bit of work over there in Japan, and nothing crazy unless they got the Laser Determination, which seems like very powerful to include in Grimmsnarl specifically, to be honest, because Grimmsnarl can play it slow. The first couple turns are usually a little bit slow, so I'm sure is a pretty big fan of that card.
Still
And that's
played a
gonna be
research.
yeah, still play just one research, three determination, one research, which is interesting, for sure.
Just so
It's
you
gonna be
can find it off the secret box, I guess.
oh yeah, probably. So you can just be like, well, this hand kind of sucks. Let's just ship it.
But does that even?
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, for like, yeah, it's like the follow. Yeah, if your hand is just like has a bunch of bad cards, you can just get rid of them. That makes sense, I guess.
Why are you playing bad cards in your deck, bro?
Bad cards for the matchup or the situation chip. Sometimes thing.
We got Takuru Raiko EX, Raging Bolt EX.
And it's Raging Bolt. Yeah, there's nothing.
They do have a
Is there-
stadium bump in here.
Dude, I thought
Not
the Chien
abnormal.
Pao would catch on a lot more. I think the Chien Pao in here is super cool as your stadium bump. Like
Mhm.
the ability to go super wide and then like go super narrow so aggressively. I feel like it's just really really good, but it hasn't really caught on. Like more people are if more people are playing a stadium bump, it's usually the jamming tower than the Chien Pao.
Then we've got a couple more Grimmsnarls here, and then this was a cool deck. Golden Go Lunatone Solrock.
And I believe this did actually. I think what won seniors. I think it was
this
this.
one seniors,
Yeah,
yes.
and it might have been that exact 60 as well.
I wonder
What is
if
the
it is
does it
Senior
have
League first tournament, second tournament. Yes, there it is.
do they run 2 tournaments?
That's a good question. It does say first tournament, second tournament, so
They run yeah, what the heck? Interesting.
maybe it means day 2. It must mean day 2.
Mm,
I don't know. This says
I don't think
senior.
so.
Yeah, I don't
Victory.
know.
Yeah, it sounds like they actually run 2 maybe they do run 2 tournaments, maybe they happen simultaneously though. Or maybe one is day 1 and one is day 2. No,
Yeah,
that
I don't
wouldn't
know.
make any sense.
But this deck is really cool. So I mean, it kind of gives Golden Go back something it hasn't had since rotation, right? Is like additional aggressive draw power with Greninja rotating out, right? And then you also do have Solrock, which is like not a bad early game one prize attacker. So you can have those games where
Yeah, the Solrock
you
is
have
super
that
good.
early game one prize board.
Yeah. I mean, that's what this deck is playing for too, right? They have the trolley and they have Arvin trolley, right? So they can easily turn 1 attack with Solrock, like no problem. You probably pull it off pretty often. Chip out here disrespecting the Rev Room though. Listen, the Rev Room's pretty good, all right?
How'd you do it, Worlds?
I'm talking about Drew Stevenson's top 8 with the Rev Room at Frankfurt last week. It's on the map. But yeah, the Solrock Lunatone build is really cool. I was gonna mention what the Vitality Band is for, but I completely forget. It's so the Solrock can hit 80 damage, or like one of the use cases is so Solrock can hit 80 damage, but I forget what has 80 HP. That it's like cool that it can KO. But there's something. Know it exists. Just know that it exists.
Timber, but now Timber has 70 HP.
Yeah, there was something where I was like, I wonder what the Vitality Band's. So why would you play it? And there's like you can also get value out of it with Golden Go. You get to 310, which KOs Guardy, and you also get to 260, which KOs another Golden Go. So there's like value outside of the 80 damage from a Lunatone, which does something, but I forget what it does exactly. Also, I think we saw, I don't know if one of the lists we saw on stream or someone just mentioned it, but you can play one of Fighting Power Tablet or whatever it's called, and then you can KO a Monkey Dory with your Lunatone. Not that you would do that turn 1. That would be a crazy turn 1, but maybe like a turn 2 or something like that. Something you could include.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't seem that crazy because if you just have like a nest ball or a fighting gong in your hand
I
and
guess
an
if you're
energy,
playing like the 4
and you have
gong seems
Arvin,
like the 4
right?
gong seems like overkill to me when you're playing trolley, but it allows you to like just set up the rocks more aggressively at the very least, I guess.
It gets your
Cycles your
energy
deck.
out of the deck, buddy.
We have Vessel. Come on, what are we doing here? We got Vessel. We're drawing +3 cards a turn as well. Like we're moving.
Yeah, and how are you drawing those cards, buddy? What card do you need?
Not even, but we could just play more fighting energy. What about that?
This is definitely better. Playing 4 Fighting Gong seems broken in this deck. All right, we got a Charizard here with your boy Tatsugiri in the mix.
Oh yeah, this is the build. This is the build. I believe this player is also from China.
Okay.
So there was 2 non-Japanese players in cut. There was Pedro Torres, and I don't know their name, but they were playing this really cool Charizard deck that it was 3 Jet Energy. I wasn't sure if it was 3 or 4. But they got like a Thin Dusknoir line. They got Klefki, Shaman. No Duck though. Where's the Duck? But I like the Jets. This is similar to the way I forget who it was. They were playing the Charizard Dusknoir deck, and they had Jet Energy in there to like increase their odds of getting off turn 1 TM Evo. That's what this can do in here as well. So yeah, the Jets are super cool to combo with like Tatsugiri. To get not just cool to combo Tatsugiri, but then just to have more energy in the deck to combo Team Evo, which they do play 2 Team Evo. I'm actually surprised that the Arvin count is so low, only at 2. But then also it's a mobility card as well. So it gets around the Sobs, the Miraculouses, your opponent trying to boss trap something in the active. It has, I guess nothing really in here really has 2 retreat costs, so that's not like too big of a fear, but does all those things, which is kind of cool.
Raging Bolt. We got an Ethan's Typhlosion. It's got the Psyduck in there. That seems pretty cool. Also Kiernan.
Oh,
And
ducks.
that's like a lot of damage boosting here.
Yep.
More Marnie's Orbeetle, Dragapult. Another Terra Box. This one has a couple Mega Pokemon in it, Mega Mawile and the Mega Kangaskhan. This is kind of where I was talking about when we read Mega Kangaskhan for the first time. This is like the type of deck that I said I felt like it could be good in.
You've been
Where,
waiting for
yeah.
this. And then yeah, the Mawile is really cool as a closer in this deck as well. I'm not sure it's I don't know what matchups that you would want it against. I guess Charizard is probably the one because you have Clefairy for Dragapult. This one doesn't have the Iron Leaves for Grimmsnarl, so I guess that's also where the Mawile could slot in as a closer against a big Grimmsnarl in the active. So, but yeah, the Mawile, that's where we saw the Mawile being played. We didn't see it in any other decks. I don't think we saw an Archaludon, excuse me, on stream. But showed up.
And then wrapping things up, it is one last Golden Go Joltik box.
I have it in there.
So that's the top 16 there. You mentioned Pedro, so I'll just show his list real quick because he got top 32. It is a top 32 cut with Golden Go. Looks similar to.
Oh, it is just the Secret Box Fan Rotom build there. Yeah. Very cool.
So, yeah, congrats to Pedro on his run, which is super sick. And yeah, really unique things. So let's use this to talk a little bit about Mega Evolution. It's coming out this week.
Yep.
What do you think the first deck is you're going to be trying out? What are you most excited to try?
Probably Mega Lucario, but then if I hit too many Gardevoirs in a row, I'll probably switch to trying. I really want to play a lot of like Mega Lucario. We saw it on stream a couple times. Mega Lucario it looks pretty powerful. I mean, it's got some good partners. It's got the Soul Rock Lunatone. It's got the Gong. It's got the Hariyama.
What was keeping him from getting in here, though?
Golden Go is probably pretty tough. And then also
Raging Bolts?
Raging Ball would probably be pretty tough. I mean, honestly, anything that one hit KOs you is probably tough. And then also Gardevoir. Like you're weak to Psychic, so you're gonna have a bad time against Gardevoir for sure. It's not very good.
Not great.
Not great. So besides that though, just kind of Solrock and Lunatone. Like you can play it in Golden Go, you can play it in Sarah Ledge, you can play it in Mega Lucario. Like just playing with that combo, that draw engine. I'm excited to try out kind of all of those decks and just see how they feel. So I'm excited for that as well. Just a new engine. Draw engine.
Yeah, I'm excited to try out some of the Mega Venusaur stuff. I think I want to try some of the grass stuff, but then also seeing where Lunatone and such fits into the mix. Like I think I'd really like to give Cynthia's Garchomp a try with all these new fighting buffs that are coming out.
Yeah, definitely. That's another one as well. You get the big one being the I wonder if there's any older fighting Pokemon that all of a sudden get revitalized. I haven't seen anything with the release of the tablet. What is the card even called? It's called
the
Premium
Juice.
Power Pro. Premium Power Pro. Oh yeah, the Juice. That's what it's called.
It's the Powerade, bro.
Yeah. Premium Power Pro.
Pokemon. Let's look at all the fighting type Pokemon EXs. real quick. Take a quick scan here, and we're gonna unlock live on the podcast. Oh, Excadrilly X, now's the time.
If there ever was a time, but there's probably not a time. There never will be a time, to be honest. I'm sorry, Excadrill.
So Cynthia's Garchomp. Mamoswine, probably not.
No, I don't think that makes that big of a difference. The Mamoswine can already basically one-hit everything. Setting up the next one is the problem.
Yeah.
Playing the game.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of like, what about like maybe there's like a quad cornerstone deck that like it's like there's certain matches where you can't quite overcome the HP, but now we can two-shot them.
Glamora EX.
No.
Shut down right away.
Like now with Cornerstone, you could effectively two-hit a Dragapult or something like that.
Oh, now's the time, bro. We're gonna land Scoop out here. I just realized I'm not sharing my screen.
You would two-hit KO a Dragapult. Now they got the damage boost.
There we go. Yeah, it looks like the EX Pokemon options are not the best. Oh, these old EXs classify as well. It is the same. Ooh, so what's good here? Ooh, Medicham EX, Pure Power, Sky Kick.
That, yeah, plus 30 damage in this format, and these formats would be pretty good. That's for sure. Big difference maker.
Wow, I think the only one of these cards that was ever good was the Medicham, and then this Regirock was okay too.
Is that really it? All the rest of all suck?
They're pretty bad, man.
I thought I saw that Swampert in the World's deck, right? As like a one-of? The fighting one?
Oh, no, this card was good too. I'm tripping. Yeah. No, this card's good. This card's good.
Okay, it looked familiar.
Yeah. It was played in 2004. Blob Takeshi said, this is Swampert's first fighting type card. Oh, dude, missed opportunity. We didn't read the Tatsugiri comments.
Oh, true. Let's see what people say.
I like effects like this because even with failure to find, you still get a free shuffle.
Nice.
And then they corrected themselves to rescue. Is that still spelled wrong?
No, that's rescue.
Okay. Rescue board, Anne's Rescue. All right, Azul, I think that's all we got for this week. Is this, wow, 2 hours? I think this might be, this is our first 2-hour episode?
Oh, what the heck?
I mean, I know we've had a lot of 1 hour and 55 minutes. I don't know if we've eclipsed 2 hours before.
I mean, I guess you could be. Maybe you are right. No, I don't know.
There.
You actually might be right. I'm pretty sure we've had a 2-hour episode before. I'm almost positive we've had a 2-hour episode.
Someone,
I could be wrong.
Uncommon Energy lore knower, correct us in the comments, please.
Lore knower.
The Uncommon Energy lore goes deep, bro.
Yeah.
Not really. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for our episode this week. I appreciate everyone's support as always. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed, be sure to give us a like, a review, rating, comment, subscribe. Those things help us out a bunch. Let us know you're enjoying the podcast and want to keep on seeing what we're putting out over here. Be sure to check out the second channel at Uncommon Energy. We've still been putting out videos over there. Coming to the end of the Scarlet and Violet evolution series. And it may be time for a new evolution series on the horizon. And if you want to stay up to date with myself and Azul, the best place to do it is over on Twitter. You can follow myself at Chip Ritchie, Azul at Azul_GG. You can also follow the podcast at Uncommon_Energy.
Yeah, appreciate the support as always. And we'll catch y'all next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Eastern.